Hello. Sorry I'm late. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Hello there. Hello, hello, hello. This is my own little introduction. I go by Mechanical Beanstalk. I'm a variety streamer who tries to do more off-the-radar games, which includes games that have a very strong community presence or modded presence or indies or retros that need a little bit more time in the spotlight. Excuse me. Burp. Had a delicious breakfast sandwich. Hi. How's it going? Good morning. Hope you're ready, unofficially ready, for our unofficial Warhammer 40,000 Sundays. On Sundays, we tend to play Warhammer 40,000 games, not for any particular reason, but just because I like the IP, right? So normally we try to do like some indies or like certain games that have a very like a total conversion mod, or just retros that were really popular, kind of fallen off the spotlight, that sort of thing. But on Sundays, we're playing Warhammer 40,000 games, and we're playing Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader today. So Warhammer 40,000, if you're unfamiliar with it, this is my kind of like my brief summarized version that I usually say on Sundays of the backstory of 40k. So it's the far off future of 40,000 plus, right? Mankind's empire is grossly overpopulated and bloated and decaying, right? Life is cheap. Technology is treated with like a spiritual reverence. Faster light travel and interstellar communication are achieved through sending them through hell. So an energy dimension, right? It has all sorts of demons and whatnot. There's all sorts of really, really weird darkness stuff. But my personal opinion, why I really love 40k, is the kind of ridiculous side of it. So a lot of the lore that was it kind of like seeded, like right when Warhammer 40,000 first came about. Warhammer Fantasy to an extent as well was just kind of like those over the top instances that are just kind of ridiculous. Naming conventions are kind of like a little bit odd, but it still takes itself completely seriously. So, but yeah, we're playing as Lord Captain Guppo Teawhistle of the Teawhistle Dynasty. So I should probably say that in Warhammer 40,000, there's a role called the Rogue Trader, which is a privateering merchant prince. You're given a writ that you're able to go outside the borders of the Imperium and go adventure, get money, get riches, get bitches, and then come back and give it all to the Empire eventually, or just give back. You're pushing the borders of the Imperium itself, right? So. Generally, in the Warhammer 40,000 lore, space halflings or ratlings are not permitted to carry a warrant of trade, but due to a clerical error, that has happened, right? So we're using this through a mod called Toybox, which gives our halfling characters plus 10 strength, plus 10 dex, plus 10 perception, but then negative 10 strength and negative 10 constitution, right? So if you're familiar with it. But yeah, let's flap over to Warhammer 40,000. Hope you're doing okay. Just had coffee, so I should be doing okay. Let's walk and talk at the same time and chew bubblegum and whatnot. Do all sorts of things. You can see underneath my portrait is the house crest of our beloved House Teawhistle, right? So this is our second campaign playing Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. First one we themed as a kind of a space Viking king. We went through the entire campaign before a lot of the DLC content was actually out. Once more content started coming out, we decided to start a new campaign, and we modded the party. As you can see, I won't go over it. I'll try to be as brief as I can for people who've already seen this plenty of times. Probably seen this intro plenty of times, but we have the man himself, Lord Captain Guppo Teawhistle. Look how tiny he is! He's adorable! Pocket-sized. But yeah, he is a officer overseer hybrid with a cyber eagle familiar. Mostly he was originally planned to be a support character and kind of like a buffer for the party's sniper. But he's kind of being able to damage stuff with his cyber eagle has made him kind of like one of the highest damage dealers in the party and most versatile, really. But he does a long range attacks. He does a lot of support stuff, and just does a lot of support and damage stuff with his cyber eagle. It's pretty cool. I really do like the overseer. Am I saying it right? Yeah, the overseer's ability. It's the cyber eagle is just really, really cool. It's really, really fun to use. It's a good class. I'm not sure if they said they were going to make another archetype before the last DLC gets pooped out for Rogue Trader. I hope they continue to do it. But anyways, this is our cyber eagle, Barnabas, and again, we're using, altering a lot of these people's portraits, right? We changed a lot of the companions around. So we have Space Halfling Solomorn, right? He's like all compact, right? And we don't really have a headcanon on why he's a space FBI Adeptus Arbites. And he is also a halfling. I don't know, maybe he was able to kind of like skirt the rules for like the longest time. Or maybe his zeal is just like the best, right? But yeah, this DLC 3, I want to say, added cybernetics, right? So I think we have, for his cybernetics, we do have like a bouncy cybernetic, stuff like that. Let's see here. Does it actually show? I don't think you can actually see it. There's probably a tab or something you can do it. Anyways, this is his. Well, I should probably say we actually respect Solomorn from level 1 into a warrior archetype. So it's an Arbite warrior. His main weapon is a two-handed shotgun in one hand and a shield in the other. Right. We do have his cyber mastiff, which is now a cyber corgi, 𝕿𝖗, right? We do have Jay. We've pretty much completely respect her. She is a blade master with an like space elf sword, space elf pistol, blade master. So she kind of jumps in, she jumps around the combat. She has a lot of like movement based abilities and a lot of like movement debuff abilities. She can jump in, shoot a bunch of people with her pistol, jump out. She also has a Weber to like can completely remove movement from a lot of people. So she's actually a good support, and she's been doing actually good like damage, right? So this is 𝕿𝖊, big old buff 𝕿𝖊, right? So 𝕿𝖊 was originally a sniper in the main campaign, in the vanilla campaign, but I made her into a heavy gunner just because I kind of wanted to try out a heavy gunner in this playthrough. But in this universe, right, she is a much larger than your typical Eldar, and he was able to use a lot of like human build armors and gear, right? So we do have almost last, we have Halfling 𝕿𝖊𝖊, which hasn't really changed much. She is a overseer, so she can relay a lot of her healing spells through her cyber raven, which I feel like it's almost like the best way to go if you're doing these days. If you're going psyker, just being able to relay powers through your cyber raven, like you have an entire group get a little bit of a heal, or being able to relay a lightning bolt through your cyber raven like from very far away. It's like so much better than just getting like a typical I don't know, like a typical operative, kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like Cyber Eagle is or Cyber Raven, right, is like the perfect pairing for the 𝕿𝖊𝖊 and just psychers in general, I think. Finally, we do have Halfling. He's Yogan, right? Hasn't really changed much aside from the fact that we respect him to be a officer. What am I thinking of? Was it? Wait, it's a strategist, grand strategist. I want to say the ones that can actually like put down zones of control, right? And we kind of respect him to be more of like a energy weapon sniper, mostly like Eldar weapon sniper. So he's going to be in the back row, just shooting stuff from afar and kind of like manipulating stuff, right? So yeah, it's a good solid party. I think I have like, originally I was, before this DLC came out, we actually knew about Yogan. I was thinking about doing Marazai for my 6th party member. We've been kind of like filling the slots with mercenaries for the most part for all this time. But yeah, it feels like a very, like the party seems like it's kind of come together. That's what it seems to happen. Like early on, especially if you don't know what you're doing, if you never played like this type of cRPG before, everything seems to be a little bit like really like tough getting out, like going through the initial encounters, stuff like that. And then the more you actually are able to build your party a little bit and things are able to synergize together, like the difficulty spike, it's still difficult. I am playing on the highest difficulty, but everyone being able to synergize with each other really well kind of reduces the difficulty like quite extensively, I'd say. So yeah, what we're trying to do right now, storyline wise, we have found the tales of our ancestor. I forget what his name is offhand, but he was traveling galaxy, hundreds of years in the past, looting the galaxy, doing certain nefarious things. We're not really sure what's going on, but we have an opportunity to kind of like retrace his footsteps in order to get some like profit for our dynasty. And yeah, potentially that's kind of a motivating factor, you know, just grow your empire. So I think I was in the middle of doing like just a planetary exploration. I don't think this is, I don't really remember this from the main game. But what we got here? So 𝕿𝖗𝖆 found something. Unknown Captain's Diary. A thick diary filled with entries written in neat, precise handwriting. Its author was documenting the events of his life with thoroughness bordering on obsession. After browsing its pages, the following entries catch your attention. Exodus, Watch 1. Never thought this day would come. I'm addressed as Master Captain once more. How many times did I swear never to venture into the void again during those 2 Terran years I spent among the mangled ruins of the unheralded Reckoning's Bridge? Okay. Unfortunately, looks like his ship probably crashed. It got scuttled at one point in time. Unfortunately, life in Gravity Well did not bring me peace. Reverend Hieronymus, I think that he's one of the faction leaders of the church in this area of space, promised me that performing a selfless feat of devotion would bring me serenity. Maybe he's right, but I'm still writing in this journal during the long nights to keep my sanity, just like I did for those 2 years, 2 years there, and 7 Terran years after that here. We'll see if I'll be able to live without somewhere that our Wasteland Wayfarer's destination. Okay, cool. The crew has reported hearing strange noises from the ventilation shafts for the 3rd time. Alas, I'm charged with pilgrims, not seasoned voidsmen. Okay, so interesting. So this is a pilgrim or a member. This is a outpost of the members of the flock. Interesting. Alas, I'm charged with pilgrims, not seasoned voidsmen. The venture scares them, and they've already managed to make up their share of absurd ghost stories. I asked Reverend 𝕿𝖌𝖚 to calm them down. He's the official head of the pilgrimage, so they ought to listen to him. Okay. Exodus, Watch 240. The vent inspection is finished. Just as I expected, there was nothing to worry about, just some torn tubing striking the hull. Okay. Exodus, Watch 793. Okay. Reverend Hieronymus was wrong. Faith does not bring me peace. I prefer not to take any sides in the theological dispute that has broken out aboard our vessel, ignoring the debates altogether. I'll let Reverend 𝕿𝖌𝖚 handle it. I feel like that name is familiar. I'll let Reverend 𝕿𝖌𝖚 handle it. I'm slightly concerned about this schism, but as long as both groups are peaceful and agree to follow my orders, they can bicker and shout all they want. Exodus, Watch 18. 810. Okay, can't even talk. The great day has arrived. The Wasteland Wayfarer has successfully landed on the planet's surface. I wonder if he'll ever leave it. A settlement is already being built down in the hills. Its official colonial destination is A111-649 Minors, but Reverend 𝕿𝖌𝖚 says he's going to name it 𝕿𝖔𝖌𝖚. This is a problem with only playing this once a week. When we first stepped into the surface, Reverend 𝕿𝖌𝖚's congregation and the nourishers used different airlocks to leave the vessel. Seems like they've ceased any and all communication. Okay, Exodus, Watch 1212. Today, the last pilgrims left the Wayfarer for 𝕿𝖔𝖌𝖚. I'm alone once again. They invited me to go with them, but I made an excuse about needing to keep watch at the Rector, since my ship is still used for powering this settlement. Truth be told, I just didn't want to go with them. They say that less than 1,000 pilgrims are still loyal to 𝕿𝖌𝖚. The services at the main temple are performed by the nourishers, and the Saint Drusus statue is cut only up to its knees. Okay. I can't understand their beliefs, but I don't think that they will help me more than Reverend Hieronymus's faith. Okay. One thing I should probably say is that if you're unfamiliar with Warhammer 40,000 Sundays, I'm a renowned. No, not really. I am a renowned Warhammer 40,000 game master for Rogue Trader, and yeah, multiple different campaigns under my belt. I have know the Lord decently. I'm not any sort of official LoreTuber making his money off of that, but I do know my thing. And sometimes we take breaks during like long load times. I think it's kind of like talk about Warhammer 40,000 lore, right? So anyways, I think we're going to continue in terms of lore discussion. In the pen and paper RPG discussion, we're going to continue the shipbuilding from last week. We were making we were having a discussion making a character that would fit more into like Star Trek or Warhammer 40,000, just because there's a lot of players out there that when they pick up like Warhammer 40,000 RPG tabletop, RPG, like the role-playing game, they are a little bit intimidated by like making a character and like playing it, because it just seems the lore is so different and like overwhelming. Sometimes it's just kind of like it hampers their ability to enjoy themselves. So I thought that I would just kind of make an argument that anyone can make, if you're playing a Warhammer 40,000 role-playing game, this one too, you don't have to know anything about the Warhammer 40,000 setting. You could be someone who is off in a corner of the galaxy that never really gets any news or gets any information traffic to them, and this could be your first experience with any of the elements that we're going to be talking about. But anyways, we did a Captain Picard type character 2 weeks ago, and then last week we did. We started doing the background for the Enterprise, and I think we were still in the process of getting like the guts in the ship ready, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the day. But there is a slight chance I might have to actually end the stream a little bit early today, depending on how things go, because I'm just going to be getting some stuff out of the way a little bit later. So I'll have to. We'll circle back around to that. Exodus Watch 1287. I was awoken in the night by a dozen pilgrims from the 𝕽𝖔𝖌𝖚. They were armed and scared, and said the nourishers had arrested Reverend 𝕽𝖊𝖊. They were bewildered and didn't know what to do, wanting me to act. So I did. Since Reverend 𝕽𝖊𝖊 is official head of the pilgrimage, I deemed this an incident of civil unrest. I cut power to 𝕽𝖔𝖌𝖚 and demanded Reverend 𝕽𝖊𝖊𝖊's release via comm. We were holding the line. Okay, cool. So his ship is actually powering the settlement. So he's like, if you don't release the leader of this project, you're not going to get any power or heat or any of the good stuff. Exodus Watch 1290, the nourishers have come to us. 𝕽𝖊𝖊 was with them. He was calm and said that the conflict has been resolved. He took the confused pilgrims and their guns with him, and I restored power to the settlement. I have no idea what's going on. Peace. The watch is of no consequence. Today I received the brotherly kiss. Then now I believe. I can clearly see the spiral path among the stars for us by the Emperor Progenitor. Now I can hear my brothers and sisters. It's a gene stealer cult. That's what it is. There's a faction in Warhammer 40,000 that is they're kind of like the Zerg of Warhammer 40,000. They have one of the ways they infest a planet is by these cultists. They're kind of their genetic DNA is like inserted into a lineage of the planet's populace, and the cult is built based around that. And eventually, it kind of causes societal collapse. And when the I almost said Zerg, when the Tyranids actually do come in full force, the planet is less likely to resist. Okay, so we have gene stealers here. I remember gene stealers in any version of Rogue Trader to be very deadly. Like, that's one thing that I think that a lot of people who play the Warhammer 40,000 tabletop role-playing game will say is that if you're a Space Marine, if you're a Rogue Trader, if you're an Acolyte, one thing you don't want to go up against is gene stealers. Because they're fast, they'll beat you in initiative generally. They have armor-piercing like claws, right? And they have many attacks. So even like Space Marines are a little bit I won't say that they're being hesitant to the point of cowardice, but it's like not something that they really relish fighting needlessly, I'll say. There's an asterisk next to that, but players definitely at the table, when you introduce gene stealers into a scenario, there's just oh no. Oh no. Okay, anyways, there looks like there's loot here. Did I not grab it? What's happening? Beep, 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 beep. Take a long time to save, goddamn. Okay. I thought I got that already. Oh, whatever. Okay. Look at all this. Look at all this stuff. Ooh, belly churn wheels. Oh, bottles. Oh, knick-knackery. Set of icons. Okay, cool. Not the greatest. Okay, let's see here. Huh.
It's about time.
What is? Okay, hidden thing. The metal box is brutally forced open. Why would the ship owners break into it if they can simply turn the key? Yeah, there's gene stealers on here. Definitely gene stealers. I should probably, if there's a bottleneck up ahead, I should probably send my tank to scout. Oh, hello. Where's Solomon?
The Lex prevails. 𝕿𝖗, heal.
Oh, why? Why are you moving all my party there? That's not what I wanted. Voxlurk, hunched over the Voxcaster, the hooded man mutters monotonously, but empathically. I don't know why I can't even talk. Into the machine as he rocks slightly to and fro. In the light of distant stars, our Emperor Progenitor wanders wearily. With thoughts and visions of us, he sends us particles of his thought. Though his body suffers, his mind lingers on. Let us therefore nourish him with the light of our souls, with our prayers, with our faith. Okay. Okay. Well, Captain Guppo is going to be a halfling rogue trader. He's very sure of himself. He's very overconfident, kind of an asshole. He is... The first playthrough I did for Rogue Trader, the cRPG, was more like a Puritan, kind of, not literally a paladin, but like kind of like Ned Stark, almost Viking kind of theme, right? With Guppo, I'm just kind of like, he's kind of like a warp dabbler. He's getting into like the most sinister aspects of the setting. And we'll just kind of see where, if he goes like full chaos, full like devil worshiper by the very end, based on how things go. But definitely he sees himself in very high regard. Excellent! A Voxcaster that works! Now we can let the planet know that I, Lord Captain Guppo Teawhistle, have graced it with my presence. The man falls silent. After a pause, he says, We know you have come, afflicted ones. So, one thing I kind of like really complain quite a bit about in a lot of these streams is that owlcat that made this game, they love ambushing you. They love it. They don't like you ever preparing for the majority of battles out there. Like, you can have like your entire group like elsewhere in like a very like fortified area where it's kind of hard to get to, and like you send one guy to go and trigger a cutscene or lure some nasty guys back, and they'll move your entire party in the center of a bunch of hostiles and ambush you. Like there's like no way, like there's like, I don't why it is visible. It's not just me. I do know that like owlcat loves to do ambushes like unnecessarily, right? Anyways, Voxlurk, with a pale hand, he throws back his hood. You see an ugly face with flat, wide nose, disproportionately large brow ridges, irisless eyes with enormous pupils, and a wide toad-like mouth, and a skin that transitions to purple scales at the cheekbones. Standing before you is an abominable subhuman, a mutant. Welcome to the home, the abode of the nourishers. Voxlurk, the sorrowful phalanges point the way to the Emperor, Progenitor. I'm glad you have chosen ours. His features are strikingly similar to those of the mutant scum you destroyed in the dynastic crypt. Okay. Well, I think it's been said already. We know what they are in character, right? Lord Xenos, look closer at the misshapen man. The being's nature has strayed too far from mankind's blessed genome. The creed sees no humanity in deviations like these, and so it commands that such creatures be exterminated without mercy. I mean, Captain Guppo definitely should know the irony of that statement, but, being an abhuman. Abhumans are like a strain of mutation in humanity. They have there's not a large variation of them. It's kind of like a stable branch of mankind that the Imperium finds acceptable. Okay. I understand this to be a trap. Am I correct? Indeed, afflicted one. You have nowhere left to run. Okay. Let's see here. I'm just kind of like looking for... Wait, I can rotate a little bit, can't I? So while we're talking... Okay, there's that door's probably going to open. So we have that. And so I think we just have two ways We can just fight here. Get everyone like right behind these consoles, and when the Gene Stealers are coming, we can just like pew 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 pew. Indeed, afflicted one, you have nowhere to run. The Demon shrieks, grinning. May the grace of our progenitor be upon you. His words are piercing, becoming a shrill echo of 100 voices, minds, growing ever louder. It torments your mind, and before you know it, you reach for your weapon.
The unworthy will be destroyed!
You hear a clanging echo grow louder in the empty modules, like hundreds of clawed limbs. Oh no, Gene Stealers! Like hundreds of limbs striking bulkheads and grabbing on the bars. Whoever is advancing upon you, there's a lot of them. You have to run for your life before they trap you in this cramped Vox cabin. Okay. This is probably like the better defended area, really. Should I just try to fight them off? I think the last campaign, I just ran, which is kind of weird. I probably shouldn't have done that because that's not really something that my last character would have done. Tech use. Make a dash for the Vox Factory and try to contact the ship. The Vox spits out the radio. The Vox spits out a torrent of static, though, which you nonetheless manage to catch fragments of words spoken by a voice not unlike your Vox Master. Teawhistle, command, the airlock. The signal is lost before you manage to say anything. Okay, they're saying to get to the airlock. Adira touches her temples and says in a hoarse voice, they're flooding the air with their psychic whispers. There's so many of them. Okay. I guess Guppo would retreat, right? Hold still, listen, look for cover, plan your retreat. If you had a few hours to explore the ship, you surely would have found any number of discrete shafts and unlocked modules you can use to leave the ship. As it is, you're only aware of a single possible escape route through the airlock back the way you came in. Any other path may lead to a dead end. I feel like I want to try to defend. It's kind of weird, like like Captain Guppo's being Captain Guppo's been through a lot in this campaign, so he's not as cowardly as he used to be. Look for cover. One look tells you there's nowhere to hide in this place. Well, at least they haven't wasted too much time. Okay. You're like, if those beings are who I think they are, they'll find us, and they'll not lose our scent. Run! Okay. We have to go! Your gaze falls along a ruin-etched panel near the Vox receiver. A green lumen burns beneath the Engage Airlock Seal switch. The switch socket is corroded and does not immediately yield to your touch, but the lumen charges color to blood red, and the whirring of deactivated airlock rises up from the depth of the ship. Okay. Is there anything else? There is treasure. Definitely gonna stop for treasure. I mean, come on. Oops. Got that papa. What do I got? Heavy stubber. Interesting. Interesting. I don't think this is the first heavy stubber we've actually gotten. Let me see this really quick. Pause. I don't think it's gonna be better than the heavy bolter. However, it might be interesting to have a different backup, right? So let's see here. Descending order, please. Yes, heavy stubber. So heavy bolter is 6 through 10 damage, 25 armor penetration versus 4 through 7. Rate of fire, we can have 10 shots. Burst fire, 3 AP, the same amount of cost as burst fire. 15, 25. I feel like just bolter is just better. Max ammo 120, max ammo 96. Range 9 versus range 12. Oh yeah, the range is better also. I feel like this would be good if you're trying to kill like large groups of like low armored enemies. Since it gives 50% over penetration, you can get your shots would go through and hit multiple different people. But I feel like I only have an option for like 2 different weapon slots. So I don't know. There might come a situation where this might be useful. I'll just keep it. So Where are we going? We're going back the way we came. Sounds good.
Victory awaits.
Okay, we
The
are going
Emperor's
to.
justice guides me. I'll check the perimeter.
Part of me does want to kind of stay and fight. Oh, there! Look at the beautiful boy. Where's Solomon? Okay, cool. Get out. The pilgrim turned to okay, turned to be a trap. Gene Stealer, 621. Not too crazy. Armor 0%. Okay, they're probably just like very squishy, but they'll do a lot of damage. Scythe Claws. We got 25 to 30, 40 damage. Actually, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Not bad damage at all. What's this? Strike. What is it? Action. Single. Aberration Touch. Whenever this creature scores a critical hit, it reduces the target's armor by percentage bonus for 1 round stacks. That's fine. None of my guys are very like high armor anyways. We're all like a pretty much a ranged party, aside from like Solomon, right? Coordinated Trap. Whenever this creature attacks an enemy for the first time in combat, the enemy must make a perception test. If failed, the Coordinated Trap effect is placed on the enemy for 1 round. If that enemy successfully passes the test, or if the duration of previous applied constructor trap ends, the enemy can no longer suffer the effect. The creature always dodges attacks made by its allies. Okay, that's interesting. Coordinated Trap. Whenever this creature is attacked by an enemy, it suffers the... It suffers... Wait. Oh, I see. Okay. You're putting... the debuff, it makes them take more damage. Got it. Combat Master, that's like you can't be outnumbered. Okay, reduces the penalties for debuffs. Brood Instincts. The bloodthirsty creature focuses attention on those who are hunted. As long as there are 3 or more such creatures in combat, each one of them gains the Ties of the Brood effect. If there are 2 or less of them, whenever those creature's wounds drop below 50% of its maximum wounds, it immediately runs away and hides for 1 round. Interesting. If the bloodthirsty creature focuses attention on those who are hunted, Tides of the Brood effects. Tides of the Brood. Supported by blood, the creature becomes fearless. It will not hide even if it's stealth damage. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Prepare for battle. Well, let's see. Get here. 𝕿𝖗. Okay. Actually, you know what? I can do 𝕿𝖗 here. Someone might be coming through this area. I'm not really 100% sure. But we'll do... Woo, 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 woo. Woo, 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 woo. Where is Guppo? Where is Captain Guppo? Where is Captain Guppo? I do not know. Where is Captain Guppo? Should be fine. We need to have her melee. She can probably intercept if necessary. Got some cover. I am surprised that Gene Stealer didn't go first. That's kind of amazing, actually. Cool. So what are we doing? What are we doing? We are doing rear... rear characters get a little bit better stuff. Let's do... Frontline. Let's do... Frontline here. And what we'll do is we'll do Blitz Stratagem. So Blitz Stratagem lets you actually make a free movement towards a zone that you create, which will be here. So we'll have a little bit more of like a movement resource to get down this corridor. Go down the corridor, go this way, and go this way, right? That's the plan. That's the game plan. Blah, blah, blah. We have 4 pips of action. So we will do a thing that we will do to do the thing. Things that we will do, the things that do in the thing. So we'll do that. Magneral Blast. So we'll do boop, boop, boop. Okay. And then anything else we can do?
Executing command.
Cool. And we will do charge disruption. I think it's... No, it's like this, right? Defender Divine War. I think I got the wrong one, actually. Yeah, he's increasing their armor and damage dealt. That's good. Okay, cool. So just do... That's fine. Yeah. Ow, 𝕿𝖚. Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord, 𝕿𝖚. Right. Let's see here. First off, let's do...
Not a problem for
You serve me. And then we'll do Alive Baits.
Suits my purposes.
And also what we'll do is we'll do Blinding Strike. And... Oh! Where are you going? Okay. Where are you going anyways? Let's do... Yes. Move. Cool.
Let's
So
see how they
that's...
respond to this.
And what do we have? We have 4 pips left. Can I go a little bit further? I think I can. I don't know if I want to go too far away from my people. But can I do strafe? Boop. Can I do... I think I have to see them.
Never wavered in the face of adversity.
This might be a little bit risky. I do... Oh, can he not make it? I should have done that.
Absolutely not.
That's fine. Can I do relocates? Okay. I can't do that either. Oh, I should have done all these abilities before I moved. Okay, I think I kind of messed up. Can I do... Yes. Do like that? Cool. Awesome. And we'll do...
Nothing I can't do.
Ooh, God, it hurts so much. Okay, shoot. Flew away. Can I move at all? I don't think I can.
All too easy. Nowhere to hide.
Nice. Okay. Go, Captain. All right. So, I think I'll be able to kill him. I'm pretty confident in that.
This
To-
tedium is beneath me.
That's free movement. Actually, I think... Should I just... I have a feeling like someone's going to spawn in here. But I can go really close.
Swift and silent.
I feel like I'm playing like a lot more aggressive than I normally do. Okay, so what do we got? We got 7. We got... boop.
I am not your Xenos pet,
We
monkey.
got dupe. We get press
It
advantage.
serves your cause.
Okay, so we got a lot of different shots. We can go here. And is there anything else I can do? I think I'm fine. Let's do it.
If I access the sun, no weakness is hidden from my sight.
Oh, it's like so close. So close. So close. 26 left. Anything else? Can I do it? I could do running gun. I can just run back.
I am not your Xenos pet, monkey.
Yeah, let's run back.
I approach the designated position.
Okay. Okay. Can I do... How far can I do this? Where is my bird? So bird... Bird, go here. Bird is fine. Bird is what I need to do. Bird, 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 bird. Bird, bird, bird.
Let's see what you can do.
Okay, go here. And I think bird can do bird stuff if necessary. Let's do... Get some movement. Blitz. And then we can do... We can do bird. I mean, the sky's the limit for bird. Can we... Oh, yay. Okay. Where are you? Okay, where is this? That's great and all, but where is... Ah, ambush. Okay. Well, at least we don't have more than one really dealing with anything in particular. That is great. That's amazing.
Anything else?
Right
Okay.
exist.
Let's do... She has movement. Okay, let's just buff and buff and buff. I should... You know what? I'm going to move over here.
I know what is to come.
I'm burping all over the place. Sorry.
Was that you?
Oh, wait, I forgot. I did something bad. That's good. Okay, I think I'm good-ish. Why are you going now, of all times? You're going to start going. You have so much move. Oh, no, you don't?
Stop hitting me, Ashmok.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So, Jay, one of the things we just gave her is like that grappling hook ability. So... there's a bionic that lets you grapple enemies and pull them towards you for a melee strike, or grapple companions away from you, right? So I'll be interested in trying that out a little bit. But can I do? Let's see here. Let's try going
I know what I'm
here.
doing, usually.
Trying to get as much free movement as I can. Okay, cool. Free
Don't
movement.
get too cocky.
Let's... Let's see here. Wait, can I do... Well, I might be able to just debuff. Hold up. So, what's a better debuff here? Let's see, I can do... Weber. Can't even remember. I know I put a bunch of stuff down on Weber. What is this? Radio, net cannon, single shots, with a ranged weapon, 80% chance to hit. 12% chance to hit. Great. Amazing. 13% chance to hit. I feel like that's better. 13% chance to hit. It's 6 shots. So what I can do is boop,
Am I getting paid for this?
boop, captive
Don't
audience.
get too cocky.
Probably don't even need the Weber now I really think about it.
Living on the edge.
Okay. Try to hit this guy multiple times. If I can. Any other buffs I can do? I can do boop, boop,
I
boop.
can do that. Jai Hedari.
Okay.
Remember
Okay, I think it resisted all the debuffs. It got bleed. That's good. That's something. How much can I do my thing? I would like to do my thing. That's... So jump out of the way. Then I can grapple ally, right? And pull Solomorn up.
Don't get too cocky.
That's fun. I like that. Cool. A little bit of extra movement is always good. And Solomorn. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. 𝕽𝖌𝖚 should attack
𝕽𝖚,
this guy.
we're undertaking
Pin him
this
down.
task.
Cool. And what else do I got? What do I have here? What do I have here? I can use my free movement to get 2 squares of
I'll take
movement.
it as a priority.
And let's see here. I'm pretty sure that someone's going to spawn here. I'll be very surprised if someone does not. So what should I do? I can jump. Do a little jump. Do Oh my god, it's so bad. Look at that. Look at that little jump. Boing.
Accepted.
Whee! It has like little spring. Inspector Gadget's spring legs. And then
The order's clear.
door. I don't really need more than that. What was? Wait, hold up. 1 second. Will mark enemies within the area of throw. Okay, you got to mark enemies. So if they haven't come yet, there's nothing really you can do. I can do this and then switch to mace. Go and block this door. Well, can they actually get through? They're like 4 squares of movement. Tell you what. What I'll do is I'll put someone right here so you'll be able to intercept guys coming this way and the guys coming that way.
Hold the formation.
Is there anything else I can do? I think I'm fine. And Yogan is so far away. You're so far away, Yogan. Yogan.
A valid argument.
Let's. Okay. Do that. Move. And here.
Executing command.
Taking his time. Okay. I could have done blitz over here. Whatever, that's fine. Over here.
Nonsense. Move.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think I can do anything else. Let's see, front line, rear. So I can do like that. Sure. I'll use kill zone. Why not?
Comply.
Cool. Is there anything else? Increased damage or reduction, right?
The machine spirits approve.
Cool. Guppo! Wait, do I have to only get like one person over here? Probably wouldn't be able to make it. Okay. We have... What can we do here? What can we do here? I don't know. I don't know what I can do. I can get some movement back here and I can shoot this guy with my bird. Let's see here. Cyber Eagle immediately heals the full wounds. He needs it. The mobilized prone and stun effects are removed. The overseer's next 3 abilities cost -1 AP less. Until the end of combat, they obstruct the enemy's attacks. That's not really that great. I can do an extra attack on Yogan. And in Yogan, I can put a couple of zones down here, and I can do another blitz. I think I might actually do that. Let's do that to Yogan.
I am fear incarnate.
Okay, and then Yogan, we can go as quickly as we can over here. And we can do front line. We can do, what's this one? That would be, wait, that's, how many squares is that? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long? This one is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is actually going to be a little bit better in terms of my purpose, what I need it for. That's fine. Okay, we'll do blitz.
Astute observation.
Cool. And then we have what? We can do blitz, stratagem, blitz, stratagem. Oh, we can do 2 blitzes a turn. I didn't even realize that. That's interesting. Huh. Wait. So, because I have 2 blitzes up because of the extra turn, I can do blitz twice? Oh, you can't. Wait. That doesn't make any sense. I wonder if it bugged out. Hold up. Should have...
I refuse to comprehend this.
Target is not in the area of effect. Okay. I feel like it bugged out. Anyways. I think I wasted something. Captain Guppo. Captain Gup. Let's do... here? I definitely... You guys saw me put down Blitz on here, right?
I'll pass.
I think it bugged out. Oh, here we go. Cool. Oh, I missed. Okay, whatever. Interesting. Okay, well, interesting. I'm sure there's a kind of a combination of things you can actually do. Like officer... You know, officer extra turn abilities and getting like getting two Blitz. Sounds like it could be very interesting. Interesting. Well, can I do anything else? So I can't do this here, right? No.
My specialty.
Let's see. So if I did this again, just out of curiosity, hold up.
Suits my purposes.
So can I do a third Blitz? Okay. Okay. Okay, so you can only do 2 Blitzes at a time. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Do. Cool.
I'm relying on you.
Interesting. Can I do anything else? Can I do anything? Oh, interesting. Okay, so... Oh, I see. Because we moved the zone where the Blitz was on. So that's why we still only have 1 Blitz. Interesting.
Already done.
Okay, can I see him? I think I might have blocked line of sight. Let's do... Woo. Strike. I didn't think so. That's fine. Live baits. Strafe. I can't do it. Damn it. That's fine. Bait, though. We can do bait. Baits.
Nothing I can't do.
Yeah, not much I can do.
Not a problem for me.
It's buff.
Absolutely not.
Buff. Cool. Alright. Can I do my buffs? 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 I would like to know what I can do and not do.
I understand your intent.
Cool. And can I shoot this guy? Kind of do when I try to kill him.
I move swiftly to strike.
Okay. We got 30.
If it
That's
serves your cause.
so 5.
I am not
Make
your
sure 𝕿𝖗 doesn't get hit.
pet monkey.
8 shots. 16 shots. Okay, here we go.
If it serves your cause.
This is shooting everywhere. Okay, great. Awesome. And I can do another one, can I? Aha!
I am not your Xenos pet monkey.
This is fun. Okay, I feel like I can... If I really understood how to use this properly, this would be really a lot more fun. But it's interesting. You can actually have 2 Blitz abilities up at a time. Oh, 𝕿𝖗, no! 𝕿𝖗, no! You're so beautiful, boy. We lost him all too soon.
What is this foreboding?
Can I relocate? Whee! Okay, cool. I don't think I can actually do much. Anyways, Blitz. Blitz, 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 blitz. Blitz, blitz, blitz.
Anything else?
Can I do... Where are you going? Where are you going? You silly. Don't go there. Anything else? What can I do? Can I do anything else? Kind of don't want to go too far. I'm kind of nervous about that. But, you know what? I'm going to risk it.
But of course.
Too bad I never leave that unpaid.
Okay. Do. Do.
This
I don't think you can make
battlefield
the
there is
blitz.
good
Oh,
for
maybe
my
I should have gone
lungs.
here. Well, whatever. That's fine. Can I do anything? I don't think I can. No. Okay, so nothing much we can do. Solomon! Solomon! Oh, I can do little grab. I can do grab. Force couple ally. So I can do boop like this.
Do, 𝕿𝖗.
That. Oh no! Come on!
Even my
Target is
dog
too
wouldn't
far. How many squares? 3 cells. Boo. 1. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's 1 square away.
Moving
Whatever.
into position.
Okay. That's this.
The guilty will fall.
Okay, this one. How far can I go?
It won't take long.
Blitz. God, we're getting a lot of use of double blitz. God, that's so good. Then we can do charge. Looks like we're almost there, so we can like pin him, put him like right here.
I'll take it as a priority.
That sounds fine. Yeah, it's good. Cool. Okay, good. Boo! Boo! Oh, it's a good thing I actually moved him though, because at least now he's like getting this guy down. It's like right. Yeah, we can't really move past him, can we? Do.
Executing command.
Oops. Okay. Made a mistake. I should not have made that mistake. Let's see. Wait, is this front line? This is front line. So if I move it, I'm not going to get blitz. Boo. That's fine. Whatever. Blitz.
A valid argument.
Can I do anything? Do. Cool. And buff.
Executing command.
And boop. Nice. Okay, and anything else? I'm fine. And snipe.
A valid argument. Anatomy is an
Not bad.
open book to me.
Yogun's doing pretty well. I actually haven't had a chance to really test Yogun's build very much so far. So that's fun. Where are you going? No, there's a... Ah!
Felt pain like this.
You're not supposed to do... You're supposed to not do that. The tank is right there. Okay. Guppo, help!
Suits my purposes.
Just say... I'd have to go back and get 𝕿𝖗 in order to use them. Okay. Well, if that's the case, let's see. Strafe. Do blind.
Nothing I can't do.
Cool. And buff her. And I can do Solomorn,
Suits
yes.
my purposes.
And then taunts.
The order is clear.
And I can do so many things. Whenever you hear me saying that, that means I don't know what to do. Let's see. Boo, boo, boo. Charge. Oh, we only have one. It's an 11 chance to hit. Wait, can I? Sure.
Understood.
That was 11% chance. 11% chance to hit. owlcat, you need to learn how to do your math. That was a not 11% chance to hit. That was a 100% chance to hit Earlit. Boo. We're doing well. I'll save skim when I want to. Don't judge me. Okay. I could have just, like, kept on going. Because once we get back to the ship, she would have been healed anyways. I don't know why I did that. Guys. If you haven't already, be sure to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. I really would appreciate it if you would do so. Plenty of different ways to actually support the channel. Liking, subscribing, and giving a like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch would be great. We have Patreon. We do have channel points and like bits set up on both YouTube and Twitch. I do stream Wednesday, Thursday nights, Saturday, Sunday mornings, so feel free to swing on by whenever you can. Sundays are when we do our unofficial Warhammer 40,000 day, and that will continue to... okay, wait. So I can do boop. I can boop over here. And then we can do blitz. Okay, that'll be a little bit better. And then I can blitz over here. Not that I really need to.
Perilous but necessary excursion.
Okay, and do that. Okay. Oh, I should have done something else. That's fine. That's... And then shoot.
Executing command. The Omnissiah can unmake both flesh and machine.
And then boop.
Astute observation.
What else am I doing? 2 more bips and boops. Bips and or boops. What is this? Looking grants the galvanic field to an ally within 9 cells. Ally becomes immune to against attacks, some of which will always ricochet to random enemies. Okay, that's fine. Let's actually just use this too.
A valid argument.
Called ambush. Okay, so okay, got it. You know what's going on? He probably doesn't have his melee weapon out. Maybe that's why he's... I don't know. Oh, no, he does have melee weapon out. Ah! Whatever, I'm just going to keep on going. Like, the exit is, like, right here. Where are you, Captain Guppo? Where are you, Captain Guppo? Whoa, 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 whoa. Guppo, Guppo, Guppo. Yeah, baby, baby, gup, gup. I don't know what I'm talking about. Blind strike.
Already done.
He's gonna run. Oh, of course he's gonna run the wrong way. Little bitch. Okay, and then blitz.
Nothing I can't do.
Cool. We're able to get out. Let's leave 𝕽𝖌𝖚 and Idira. You're gonna glass the planet from orbit, man. You can't, like, do this to me. The cult of the Nourisher is tainted with genetic corruption discovered on the planet Avon. Yes, yes, ma'am, Avon. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Great. Okay. I would like to ability to bombard these planets from orbit. Wait, so can I go back? So we're just gonna leave the cult on there? Okay, whatever. That's fine. Begin scan. Boop boop boo. Woo 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 woo. Plasteel, we have 14 already. I don't think we really need it. Begin scan. Woo woo woo. Look at this beautiful world. What we got here? 50 XP. Small planet gently wrapped in an amber forest greets you with a ruby-colored dawn. 𝕽𝖔𝖌𝖚 𝕿𝖗, the local governor, gives the rogue trader a warm welcome. After several glasses of Damascene, the sweltering ruler asks if Lord Captain Guppo Teawhistle would like to keep him company during an upcoming hunt. Of course, that sounds delightful. After several hours of riding the local particular animals, you make camp in the middle of a golden forest. 𝕽𝖔𝖌𝖚 points at the sky. A flat disk rises over the horizon, constantly morphing its color and shape. The forest grows silent and empty, and you can no longer hear the singing of birds or even the rustle of wind. The governor nods with satisfaction, and even a few shapes step into the clearing. Their bodies are twisted by unknown phenomenon, and you watch the freaks with astonishment as they begin to dance to the throaty cackling of their brethren, turn the bony growths and pulsating flesh of their scaly hands towards the unnatural thing in the sky. What is this, Governor? The governor smiles coyly. You're about to see with your own eyes what is happening here. Watch in silence. The hypnotic dance seems to continue forever. The unfortunate creatures howled, whined, and convulsed, unable to tear their bleeding eyes from the celestial body. When the Pavonine disc shone even the light of the local star, the physical shells of the thing that used to be men burst, releasing beasts onto this plane that not even the most fluent and capable pen could describe. 𝕽𝖔𝖌𝖚 excitedly exclaims, the creature you saw are the children of the great king of distortion. It is he who is the true god and patron of these fertile grounds. Once every cycle, his chariot shines its light upon the world and bestows transformations upon his most ardent followers. The rogue trader may become one of his heralds. Oh no. Oh no. Execute the government on the spot. Well, I need to get more heresy points. Execute the government on the spot and express the desire to become the herald to the king of distortion. I would like to see what this king of distortion has to offer. The governor has spoken heavily chair. Okay. The governor particularly shrieks with delight and more eyes open on his hands and neck to give you a closer look. You must speak to the god in the chariot himself and surrender to him whatever you most value in life. Okay. So it's a Tzeentch cult. Okay. Interesting. Fascinating. What I value most. Oh, am I going to have to kill Jay? That's going to be wild, man. I guess. So if the storyline steers towards sacrificing Jay, would I actually do that? I mean, I don't know if Captain Guppo's corrupt enough yet to do it, but if he was, that's kind of I kind of like having Jay in the party, really. It's probably going to be that, though. It's going to be that. We have to make a sacrifice of our romance partner. There's another character. We haven't done Mara's Eye. We didn't do Mara's Eye last campaign. So for some reason, if we lose a party member, we can put Mara's Eye in that party member's place. Or the crew of the chart course for the anomaly known as the King of Distortion. The senior officers observe suspicious activity emanating from the twisted celestial body at the heart of the system. The chaplain advises you to get ready for a potential encounter with the spawn of the archenemy, so it may be wise to reconsider, unless you have holy relics, sacred wards, or blessed effigies to the Emperor. A flame with a plethora of colors, the distorted celestial disk trembles slightly beyond the endless windows on the captain's bridge as the rogue trader's ship approaches its center. An otherworldly voice, cold and enveloping, enters your mind. What could this puny wretch probably offer a king? The officers of the bridge look around perplexed. Their eyes are full of terror and confusion. Many clutch their heads and let out a howl of pain. Some empty their stomachs, but most, pale and exhausted though they are, have joined the Lord Captain in resisting the entity's influence. Ask you where you're talking to. Command the entity release the minds of the Amber Worlders from its grip. Who do I speak? An endless flow of images fills your consciousness. You see the horrifying scenes of millions of tortured souls. Their screams rend your mind. Their pain pierces you with 1,000 red-hot needles. King, ruler, one who is obeyed. That is all you can make sense of, although you can see much more. I saved, didn't I? Hopefully I saved it. I don't know, man. Like, I don't really want to give up one of my party members, and I don't think Lord Captain is... I think what he would do in character is he would try to befriend this entity to know more about warp spawn stuff. Because when I get to tier 3, I'm going to give him a psi rating. He's going to be kind of like a warp dabbler, right? So this would make sense. So it does... I wish to become the herald of the King of Distortion. The king is intrigued. Never before has a mortal sought to obtain his divine blessing. All you have to do is claim ownership of the Amber World and not interfere with the events unfolding on the planet. If the king is pleased with you, he may even let you collect tribute from his playthings. Okay. Sword fell to the king, propose to fulfill his request, attack the entity without every cannon on board. Order shipwide 1,000-voice prayer service over the holy relics for the pantheon of the Amber World Imperium in your own souls. I mean, swear fealty, I suppose. We're trying to do more of like a chaos run. So yes, I swear fealty to. Give me your secrets, being. I desire power. Acerbic laughter fills your head as an enormous distorted disc vanishes from the void ship's augurs, as if it had never been there. Okay. So, what does that mean? Does it do anything? Interesting. The one force the Amber Lure look enchanting, even from orbit. Cleanse the world of heresy. Demand tribute from Amber World. Proclaim yourself the sovereign of Amber World. Okay. Okay, a bunch of chaos trophies. Nice. Sure. The estates of Amber World now belong to you alone. The blessing of the King of Distortion keeps spreading over the world, no longer affecting just humans. Even the birds and beasts are now subject to its divine influence. Like a true herald, you must protect this promised garden from any dangerous outside threats. Demand tribute. Interesting. So I can come back here and get more trophies, I guess. Interesting. Dozen containers stained with blood and marred with unusual substances make their way on the ship's cargo hold. The King of Distortion favors you. And you can feel it. Okay. I feel like I'm going to forget about this thing. But it is interesting. Continental world. Huh. Save, I guess. Okay. Hopefully I haven't... I should probably do... in case of F up. Should have actually saved before then, but whatever. That's fine. Okay. Let's keep exploring, I guess. Interesting. Guys, hope you're doing okay. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. What time is it? It is 9, so we've been doing an hour and a half. So we'll make time. We'll make time to talk about the pen and paper RPG a little bit. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I really do appreciate every last one of you. You guys are incredible. Beautiful, even. Okay. We'll do here. I don't want to use any of my insight. The trail to my ancestor is kind of getting cold. Not really sure where else to go. But yeah, like if you're just kind of jumping in, what we're going to be doing eventually, we're going to be talking about the pen and paper RPG a little bit. We try to do that every Sunday, and we've been kind of working out, talking about like how to make an alternate sci-fi universe equivalent in Warhammer 40,000. That is to say that if you're ever trying to run a Warhammer 40,000 campaign in the pen and paper game, like especially Rogue Trader, a lot of people can be kind of intimidated by the type of lore and like the baggage that 40k can kind of bring with it. So I say that it's perfectly reasonable to make characters that have never heard of the Imperium, that have actually never had the kind of like dark, grimdark encounters. I think it is possible personally. I have a lot of like a rant in my previous streams on it. I'll probably repeat that rant this time. But okay, we have the Eldar over here. It's probably the people that we saw last time. Let's scout. Save too. Scout, get some resources. I need to repair too. Begin scan. Woo 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 woo. Oh, hello there. What is this? Xenotech. We have 5. Yeah, sure. I'll mine for some Xenotech. Okay. Now explore charred ruins. Charred ruins have been detected on the planet's surface. The architecture, building materials, layout, and passages betray the Xenos origins. There are currently no signs of Xenos. That was not intentional. Signs of Xenos activity on the planet, and the ruins seem to be abandoned. Okay. Run a detailed scan, send a recon team. We can do both. Run a detailed scan. The burnt husk of an Imperial shuttle has been found in the heart of the ruins. The pilot remains are badly damaged. It would seem that the shuttle smashed into the building at full speed, causing a fire to destroy it. Okay. Sister Argenta believes the crew has found the remains of a martyr who sacrificed himself to protect humanity from the Xenos threat. She proposed to erect a monument and hold a service in their honor. Interesting. Jay Hadari is impressed by the dead pilot's bravery and believes that they would have been honored to have their equipment serve in new generations in the fight of the Xenos and heretics. I kind of like that too. Kibala claims that the pilot's fierce and fearless spirit has not departed to remains to go to the Undying One. She proposes to honor the hero and decorate the bow of the flagship with their bones. So I think this is what I did last time. This sounds kind of familiar. So they can continue to fight the enemies of humanity even in death. So you got martyrs. After being rammed, the enemy void ship deals negative 10% less damage and has... Okay, that's not bad. I think I'd rather do Jay's thing. We're going to loot the corpses. What do we got? We got Architect Lasgun. That's not... it's kind of bad. Like, a lot of the gear in this game is actually not that great. But I guess you can kind of make it into cargo. So it's not 100%. It's not totally... bad. Reinforced boots. These boots grant the wearer +5 toughness. Collision damage caused by the wearer is increased by collision damage. The charge? Is that what that means? Collision damage. Forceful strike and weapons. Oh, whenever you push. Okay, interesting. I've always kind of wondered like how well like a push build would actually work. Close examination reveals a few precious architect items. Unfortunately, removing them destroys the pilot's remains. White shards of bone are now scattered amongst the burnt-out ruins. Okay, that's fine. Interesting. Where are we going? Let's go to the Hulk. So the next DLC is supposed to be the last, unfortunately. That's what I heard. And it sounds like what they're doing is they're going to make a Space Hulk themed DLC, which I can see as being pretty good. Like the Pathfinder, the owlcat Pathfinder games all had like a randomly generated mode where you can put through pre-generated party members through like a randomly generated dungeon. That's essentially what Space Hulks are in a lot of Rogue Trader and like spacefaring versions of the RPG, is that they're just they're essentially what Space Hulks are. If you're unfamiliar with it, the warp, like we said, it's a place of that kind of doesn't have the same laws of like physics or the way like gravity, time works, right? Generally, whenever you're traveling through it, you bring a bubble of reality to avoid having to kind of like be kind of melded or like melt or like being damaged or annihilated within the warp, right? But sometimes, you know, stuff happens. You hit like a reef of reality, right? When you're traveling through the warp, and you kind of your ship gets lost in the warp, right? Sometimes a lot of the ships that are semi-protected or not protected at all, they can kind of like meld into like giant hulks, like many different ships, not even just the Imperial ships, but like Xeno ships. You can have like different like asteroid stuff, and eventually it can get like spat out into like this like super dungeon, right? And sometimes they have like all sorts of like old archaeotech or like relics and stuff. So, like functionality wise in these kind of RPGs, they're like big dungeons, right? Whenever you find one. I don't think I've ever really featured any sort of space hulks in my campaign. I think there's an option. There was options for players to kind of go and like explore space hulks, but for some reason they just kind of it's not like they didn't want to do it. It's just kind of like they got sidetracked. But yeah. Stream Boo is going to be saying hi. Hi, Stream Boo. What's going on? Stream Boo. Okay. Okay. Anyways, let's go to the Space Hulk. But yeah, we're going to see a lot more Space Hulks in the next DLC. The vigilant member of the Halfling Crew has detected a small Xenos vessel drifting through the void. The ship is unpowered and shows no signs of being crewed. Send a boarding shuttle. The squad boards the vessel without issue. Corrosion had laid waste to the ship's systems, with led to the death of the entire crew. The interior is filled with Eldari corpses. No weapons were found on the board, and the dead Xenos, judging by their clothing, were not part of any warrior caste, merely the crew of the now defunct ship. The Xenos Earlight claims to have recognized the symbols of the dead Eldari's clothes. They were civilian refugees from the Crathworld Crudark. So her homeworld. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Look at that star. Beautiful blue star. Boop, boop. Plasteel. New. Don't really need plasteel. Woo, 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 woo. All the worlds are just effed up, aren't they? We get adamantine. Adamantine. Do we need that? We have 8. Maybe I should have actually got provisions. You know what? I will. Cool. We have some more. Cool. So, no, don't go there just yet. Begin scans. Woo, 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 woo. Plasteel? No. So let's do... Take a peek. We are going to take a peek. You and me and my friends over on YouTube and Twitch. We're going to explore the world. Explore the galaxy in our ship full of halflings and cooks. Oh, they're just going to attack us? Okay. So, 'tis what it is, I suppose. Hey guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. I really would appreciate it if you would do so. Current goal over on YouTube is to get 1K subscribers to actually, be able to utilize the partnership program. I probably should actually do a little bit more stuff in terms of like advertising, but I don't know. We'll figure that out. I don't want to be too intrusive with my advertisement. Interesting. Heartless. We getting surrounded. Okay. Eldari Aconite. Okay. Oh, we got really bad initiative, didn't we? Oh, that's ooh. Okay. Oh, they're doing melted torpedoes. Okay. Heartless. Okay. So we actually have our backup ship with us. That's good. All right. This actually might be really good. Actually get a little bit more experience. Okay, we're kind of like surrounded. owlcat loves their ambushes. I think that I can just try to do like a pivot and like speed past these guys and try to avoid the torpedoes, because that can be pretty bad. Let's see here. I can do high-speed turn. Should go here. Let's see, how can I do... Yeah, I can do... Wait, like do this. New heading. You get a like very sharp turn, right? So I can do... Let's see if I can do... Boop. I want to go straight, and I want to do a warp jump past these guys. So then all the torpedoes have difficulty actually like latching onto me. Almost, but not quite. Okay, I'm just gonna go straight. 32 to 42. Okay. Let's do that.
Unleash our vengeful salvo!
Wait, can I do... Wait. Ah, I can't! Oh, wait, no. Wait. Hold up. Can I do... I think I actually might be able to do something interesting. I can do... Maybe. Let's do... Like that. And I can do... This... Oh, no! No! That would have been so good! Oh, boo.
Fire the last battery!
Okay, that's fine. Let's see here. Wait. Why can't I do shallow jump? Target cell is inaccessible. I think it'll still be fine. Let's do... Yeah. Let's see here. I think it'll work out fine. That would have been really nice though. Overloads enemy shields. Enemy has a if the enemy has a hollow field, loses several of its charges. They go back to other Xenos technology. So that's fine. Let's do... what should I do? Should I do reinforced shields from behind? 80. I'll do... I don't think these guys are able to really hit anything. So I'll do side shields. Ports. Reinforced port. Okay. I don't think that was the best thing to do, but let's see. Okay. From behind. Bow. Boo. Okay. I don't feel as intimidated in this combat compared to some other ones. Okay. Oh my god, poor Heartless, man. Oh, where do you think you're going? Oof. Nice, not bad. If he can stay alive for... he might actually... He's doing a decent amount of damage. Can't do much else, can I? Where am I going? I will do... I'll go here. Okay, torpedoes, that's fine. Save. So I should be able to kind of get away. So let's see here. What do we got?
Set the course.
Boop. Okay. And almost, but not quite. Move. Shoot. Okay. Oh, I want to ram. I think I was actually originally trying to make the Hearth and Home a like a ramming torpedo ship, and I just want to do something different than I did before. Welcome you guys coming in. Hope you guys are doing fine. Hope you guys just kick back, kick your feet up on your desk, And just enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. Let's see, I can do boop.
The time
Should be
has
enough room.
come.
Yes. So, anything else? Okay, I can control the torpedo. And still not quite enough. I'm just gonna blow up the torpedo if I can. That's fine. Anything else? And I'll do a shallow jump. I'll try to get away from all these other guns. And I'll do rear shields. Actually, you know what? I think I can, since I'm so far away, yeah, I'll try to reset my shields. Cool. Boo. So many torpedoes, oh my god. Crazy. You know, like, if I ever, I don't know, there's plenty of different ideas I actually have if I ever went back to being a game master for Warhammer 40,000 tabletop RPG. But one of the things I actually kind of wanted to do with like a heavy ship combat game for Rogue Trader. Maybe like a pirate game or like a naval game or merchant fleet. Merchant fleet would be interesting, actually. Ooh, look at all these guys. Fudge. Okay. It's so heavily maneuverable. Can I do this warp wave? Should be able to kill them, right?
Already dead? Pathetic ashmuts.
Okay. So how should I do this? I could go make like a swing run and like I think I'd rather try to outpace a lot of these guys. How's my shields? 80, 80, 80. Shields are all fine. He just hit me when my shields are down, so that's why I took so much damage. But that's fine. Boss pattern torpedo tubes. I think I will poop that out. So I can poop that out, and I'll do like here.
Set the course.
And do starboard shields. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else I want to do. Boo, you suck. They're really like squishy. If I can just get a good shot on a lot of these guys, I could probably take them down like 1 or 2 volleys. I just don't want to get like surrounded. So if like I go like straight into them, they would just like, you know, heavy fire me down. You know? Yeah, okay, cool. We got starboard 41% shields. So how am I gonna do this? Like, I want to angle it a certain way where I'm not immediately just gonna fucking die. If I go... I can do... Wait. Hold up. So I have 41 shields on my starboard side. I can do a swing run. Or not swing run. Was it swing run? New heading. So I can do new heading. I still wouldn't be able to hit him, though. That's the thing. Can I do... Yes. So I can do this guy. Okay. Maybe that wasn't the best thing to do. But we can do this. And I can do... Boop. And like do boop. And I can do ports. So reinforce these. So they're going to come a little bit closer. They're probably going to go straight here. They'll hit my reinforced shields, and then I'll be able to do another swing. Maybe I can actually do... I should be able to get like close enough with my broadsides. I'll be able to kill like one or two. I probably shouldn't have done... Actually, you know, this is not a bad decision. So warp wave, change the direction, because then I'll have to spend a lot of movement like turning and going all the way around here. I feel like I'm not doing bad. My torpedo should be up next turn too. Ooh. You know, if I can... Ooh. Why didn't they move? Oh, they couldn't move because... Wait. No, that can't be right. Are they stuck? Wait, I think they're actually stuck. I think, like, they can't maneuver... I think they can't maneuver. Because one can't move here and one can't move here. Like, you have to go one space forward. So the Eldari, ancient enemy, ancient civilization... forgot that they're in a 3D plane. So they're like, bonk, bonk, bonk. Okay, sure, whatever. It is what it is. So we can do a shallow jump if we wanted to. Let's see here. I can do this. Yes. Okay. And I can do... How much can I do? Barely. Can I do... How many spaces do I need? Let's see here. Boop. Boop. So the Mayzoa lance weapon. So they are what? They're 2 squares away? So 1, 2. Oh, fuck. So close. Oh, man. Okay, that's fine. Do that. And do this. And I think I'll do... I should probably keep the shields, because they're probably all going to turn... Actually, you know what? I have something else I'm going to do. So I'll do... change the course of this guy. Okay, so we have to do like a wide turn. So I'll keep the shields on this side. So most of these guys are probably going to have to come around on this guy and hit my aft side? Port side. Okay. So I think I'm good. I can't really do anything else. Ah. Okay. Okay, that's gonna hit my port side, right? It's gotta hit my port side. Fuck you. How's that... Wait, how is it even possible? It shouldn't be... I don't know, man. Okay, so... I can hit them. That's good. I can do this... And then hit the torpedoes and hit the Shadow Hunter. I think those guys are stuck. I think I like totally lucked out. Okay. Save. I think I'm gonna win based on like a goof. Let's see here. I can overload. It's like one more. This is really dangerous. Okay, overload. Okay, so that's... Okay, I guess it did overload it once. So... Okay, I'm gonna have to... do... things to this guy.
This one's going down.
Okay, so, and I can also do warp wave. Okay. And I can do warp wave. Okay, so I can do this and do strafe. Wait. Can I actually? I can. But like the torpedo's right there. I'd probably kill myself. There's like no way I wouldn't be able to do this, right?
Bleed them.
Like there's no way they wouldn't destroy the. I'm so tempted. It's gonna kill me though, because I might kill this thing, and then the torpedo's just gonna go off and kill me. God, I wish I had torpedoes. That's fine. I'm gonna. Oh, I can. You know, I can save it, right? We know. Wait. How much? It's not gonna do. Yay! The explosion set up. Okay, cool. Because the torpedo wasn't armed. Yay! Okay, cool. That wasn't as bad of an idea as I thought it would be. Yeah. I think I'm good. And they're stuck! Ancient Eldari race stuck. Okay, cool. Let's see here. What can I just... boop. Okay. I don't want to turn them. Okay. I don't know if I want to get closer, but what can I do? I can just zoom ahead. I can go like right here. I can bombard them. Okay. And then do here.
The time has come.
And then shallow jump. And then do aft shields. And I don't think aft shields have taken any damage whatsoever. And they can't move. So that's the only potential shot they would be able to do. So it should be fine. What the fuck is this? Okay, sure. Okay, sure, cool. Yay! Leveled up! Bitches! A wraith bone, intact solar sails, cool. And scrap. Got it. Awesome. Okay. That was unusual. That was definitely unusual. Okay. Okay, cool. Definitely repair. And I'm not really sure, like, where are we going for this augment? Request for augments actually should they set the augment. Okay, sure. Let's do ship. We can level up, right? Development. So we're doing, for this build, we're doing ramming and we're doing torpedoes. That's the original idea. But let's see. All hands on deck. What's this? The flagship's torpedo tubes are loaded with 3 torpedo salvos instead of 1. That's pretty good. Duration 2 rounds plus 1 round for every 20 points of the master cannonier's demolition skill. Okay, cool. Boarding party. The flagship launches a boarding party to infiltrate an enemy ship, starting internal fires and possibly causing the engine damage that cripples the ship for 1 round. Can be used once per round. Duration blah 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 blah. Corpus Cari chance. At the end of each turn, the most damaged sector, the flagship shields, restores up to 50% of his strength. That's not bad. Imperium Storm. The flagship makes 7 attacks, each of which targets a random enemy in an 8 cell range and deals 8 through 14 warp damage. Can only be used once per round. All these are pretty good. Maximum Overdrive. The flagship speed is increased by +2, and its maneuverability is increased by 1. The bonus damage dealt by the void ship ram is based on distance traveled is increased by 100%. Okay, all really fun. What do we got? We got 2 choices. Arc Augury, the flagship's next shot gains +2 extra range. Expeditious Reload reloads all macro cannons that were fired during their acceleration phase. Not bad. Vulnerability Scan. I don't think this was actually that great the last campaign, but I mean that sounds fun. We do this, and they're all pretty good. I would say just durability rise. Koperskari Chant is probably better because at the end of each turn, the most damaged section of flagship shields restores up to 50% of his strength. Duration 2 rounds plus 1 round for every 20 points of it. Yeah, I'll do this too. Give us a little bit more like durability, but yeah, it's fun. Okay. Can we see components? Can we upgrade? Upgrade hull. Upgrade RAM. Oh, we can't upgrade the hull anymore? Boo. Or we just don't have enough scrap. Oh, we don't. Okay. I see. Okay, well, we'll save scrap. Wait, don't we have like stuff that can give us scrap? I don't know. That was fun. Definitely fun. What time is it? Let's make sure that I'm not going to run out of time. 52. Okay, well, I'll try to find an opportunity to talk to you guys about building a ship in the pen and paper RPG. Let's see if we can get back on track and try to find out where our ancestor is going, or went rather. So, squishy halflings. Yes. And you know what? I will do save. This again, since we don't have to worry about that. Not really. So where are we going? Where are we going? Let's see. Warden of the Expanse. Lord Inquisitor Xavier Cortez is a powerful, mysterious figure who plays a pivotal role in the fate of Cronus Expanse. His power is so great that he rivals even other rogue traders. New rumors. Okay, got it. Interesting. Kavita, hey, what's going on? What up? What up, Kavita? How's it going? How's it going? What's going on? You having any adventures? Rumors, quests, contracts. Shadowly dealings. Von Toka has entered in trade war with the competitor of the Troll Trade. Oh, interesting. Having lost several of his Xenos procures, you need a powerful infill supplier of forbidden merchandise. Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. There's all the stuff we haven't done. Xenotech 4, Profit Factor 2. I do need Profit Factor. A favor. Lord Inquisitor Calcazar servants have been buying up top quality plasteel and transporting it to unknown. Okay. What is Profit Factor plasteel? Lord Inquisitor Calca's servants have been buying up top quality plasteel and transporting it to unknown location. While the nature of Lord Inquisitor's secretive grand-scale manufacturing operation remains unknown, the names of those who are assisting him are uttered with great respect. Interesting. Feel for the faithful. Explorator Condescend's fleet is planning on a holy expedition to unexplored subsector. Okay, so it's just resource selling, right? That's what it sounds like. Oh, people too. I definitely need that. Yeah. Race to the top. The hive world of Furlnix seeks to undermine the influence of subsector capital planet. The governor seeks agents, seeks rare and valuable minerals that help foreign industry grow and prosper. Okay. Yeah, I think I do need that. I feel like I need this other things I need too. Provisions, promethium and chemicals. Ooh. Okay. Get rid of people, but get chemicals. Provisions plus 10, but I have to get rid of 3 profit factor? Okay, interesting. Plasteel 4. Yeah, hell yeah, son. Okay. Go for the faithful. Sell, yeah. Why have I not been doing this? Okay. Cool. Now I can actually, I'm not like poor anymore. Nice. Amazing. Kavita, so I thought the back rooms would be a short visit, but the portal shut down, so I've been stuck in here for a year. For a year? Wow. Well, I guess time is kind of nebulous there, right? So, I mean, last time I was talking to you was probably like you know, before it actually happened. I don't know. Like time travel stuff is kind of weird. But anyway, well, I mean, do you at least have like you have food, water? Do you have an internet connection? That's good. So at least you're able to, you know, you have the priority of hanging out with us while you're waiting for the portal to open. Is there like a tech support you can call for the back rooms so they can like get the portal running? Let's go. Do I have trade? Do I have to go all the way to journal? Augmentation, character. Yeah, I have to go back to the bridge, I think. Cargo management. Let's go back to the bridge. Because I'm not really sure where to go. But yeah, I should probably say that while I should probably learn how to walk and talk at the same time. So yeah, we are going to go, we're going to check to see what if we can actually buy anything new. I think there's a couple things I did want to buy, especially like a Eldar heavy weapon for Irlit. Some other things too, I think. There's here and there. But what was it? Yeah, we're going to be talking about building a character. We talked about building like a Star Trek style character in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, like the pen and paper game, right? Last week we actually started talking about like making a Star Trek style Star Trek style like ship in order to kind of do the same way, kind of make like people who are more familiar with like say like Star Trek than like 40K, they feel more comfortable like playing in a setting which actually has elements they're familiar with, right? But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that in just a bit before I leave. I was intending to actually try to do a 2-hour stream, but I guess I do have time for 2.5. I'm burping, sorry. That's very rude. But yeah. What's I saying? But yeah, we talked a little bit about we're essentially trying to build the Enterprise D in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, right? We were rolling a new party in the pen and paper game. We got like 40 profit factor. We were thinking about doing ships. We did a backstory about it being part of the Adeptus Mechanicus exploratory fleet. So we have a little bit more like they're a little bit more technologically savvy on the Enterprise D. The Glorious D. We'll name this ship that we're building the Glorious D. So we'll go over, get to factotum, and see about trading. We can check out our pet stuff. I don't think there's any pet stuff that we really want, though. I don't think so. I think everything's fine. We have 41 profit factor. That should be good enough. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so what were we looking for? We were looking for that we can buy stuff from the church. We got two-handed sword. We got heavy armor. Would be good for Solomorn. Armor 40%, dodge penalty. While the wearer has 75% more wounds, their reflection is increased by 3 and their parry is increased by 27%. We have one. Just one. Missing one. That's not good. I don't like that. Rusty heavy. I never use saws. We can do Dark Visionary Hood. We're going to wear a +10 bonus to willpower and +15 damage to psychic and navigator powers, but inflicts a -10 penalty on weapon skill and ballistic skill. That's like nothing really. Can I do? That's good. I'll come back to it. Trajectory Optimizer. The character gains +3 MP at the start of combat and +1 MP at the start of each subsequent turn. That's pretty good. That's really, really good. We got 8. What do we have? We can buy a lot of this stuff, actually. Spinner's Breastplate. You know how sexy that is. Light Armor. And what do we got? 32. Okay. Oh, and now we can buy more medikits too. Oh, there's a lot. Oh my god. Just a little bit more profit factor unlocks so much stuff. Phase Oscillator. The user can now move through enemies. Interesting. Each creature on their path suffers +10 impact damage with 30 armor penetration. Okay, wait. What is the scale with? That's toughness bonus +5. Phase Oscillator Augment. Okay, interesting. Until the end, and you can use phase oscillator. Until the end of the user's turn, each enemy the user moves through suffers double damage and is pushed 2 cells away. That seems pretty good. I feel like there's a build you can actually have on this. I feel like, hopefully, because I was thinking of actually doing like a push character in my, when we start to play Dark Heresy. Like, it's kind of hard to wrap my mind around how that would work, but I feel like there's tools to make that. I feel like it would be very, very fun too. We got Enforcer Carapace, 50 armor for medium armor? God damn. Armor against human enemies. Medkit. Solid shield in Armis. How do you say that? You get the big old belt. The wielder can use shield swing with their shield against multiple enemies in an area. Okay. Wait, how does that work out with 𝕽𝖏𝖚? Because I know you can bop enemies with Solomon's shield, and then that'll give... It doesn't do a lot of damage, but then 𝕽𝖏𝖚 would attack him. The wearer's shield attacks deal an additional 2 damage. That's not bad. A lot of this stuff is actually pretty good. All this is really like cheap down here. I just have to spend my gear. Silent Death. Whenever the wearer suffers trauma in combat, if they have more than 0 wounds, they immediately regain 13 wounds. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Whenever the wearer suffers a trauma in combat, if they have more than 0... Oh, I see. So it's not like you can stay up if someone knocks you out. That's kind of dumb. No. There is a build for that. I think there's certain things that give you traumas, right? A lot of the Blade Master stuff. I know there are builds that they can inflict traumas on yourself. I don't know. That's fine. It sounds interesting. Death World War Boots. These boots grant the wearer a plus 15 dodge reduction bonus for attacks with melee weapons. Bionic Arm, Hand of the Righteous. The user's attacks with weapons in a hand inflict 1 stack of Penance Brand on hit until the end of combat. Penance Brand. The creature's characteristics are reduced by -0. Oh, you have to be dogmatic. Okay. Okay, sure. Whatever. 36. Oh, God, there's so much stuff we can afford now. Just like that little bit of extra money really helps. Triumph. Okay, 2-handed. I don't have any. Oh, it's a one-handed 4-sword. I haven't really done 4 swords in this game. Executioner's Gauntlets. Increase the critical damage on where it hurts. I don't know what that is. Including the damage for attack itself and the extra damage instances over time effects. It's probably going to be like Blade Master or something. Yes, it's a Executioner. Yes. Interesting. Executioner. I don't think I have an Executioner, do I? I don't think I do in the party. Seal of Death. I can't buy it. When the wearer kills an enemy with Blade Dance, all enemies adjacent to the wearer become staggered for 1 round. Okay. Roaring Thunder. We don't really have melee. This Thunderhammer deals plus 3 damage and grants a plus 10 stacking chance to stun an enemy for 1 turn for each point of the enemy's deflection. Okay. Condensed Carapace. The wearer's critical chance of melee combat is increased by 10%. Okay, interesting. I don't know if I want to spend all my treasure, but I think that I have a lot of stuff to sell. Probably gonna be just like selling a bunch of stuff. Add to cargo, sure. Stronghold. Add to cargo. Fireblast Carapace. Add to cargo. Add to cargo. Add to cargo. Go. I roll sniper rifle. Add to cargo. Awesome pistol. Splits. Add to cargo. Add to cargo. And add to cargo. And sell. And sell. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so save. Interesting. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Or shipping, transportation of goods. Okay, so Drusians actually have some pretty good ones. We can actually probably level up that. We have 12 ranks of stuff. with Explorators. Galvanic Inductor, MK Warrior. On hit, hits with melee weapons inflict galvanic resonance for 1 round. The effect deals damage with 31% armor penetration to all creatures adjacent to the creature under this effect. I don't really have a lot of melee. I don't think this is really too useful. I'll buy it anyways, because why not? Heavy plasma gun. Ooh, heavy plasma gun. Wait, no. Wait, it says light though. It doesn't say heavy. Wait, what? It's not a heavy plasma gun. Wait, but it's not a two-handed heavy. Interesting, I guess. Extra damage, plasma overcharge, 20 through 25. Range 10. Sure, I guess. Vox Beacon. If the wearer is an overseer, their first overseer archetype ability in a round costs 0 AP. Okay, sure. Silk Body Glove. Arc Rifle. I think this is the first time we've actually looked at an Arc Rifle. That's 50. We can't buy it anyways. Galvanic Carapace. Look, what is that? The user's single melee attacks cause chain lightning. Cool. Dealing 13 shock damage with 19 armor penetration up to 0. Okay. Interesting. Can't buy it anyways. The wearer gains an additional 1 AP for each subsequent turn that the wearer has not moved. I think I tried to build with that. I wasn't able to use it properly because I would always have to move. The wearer gains an additional +1 AP for each subsequent turn the wearer has not moved. Maybe. Stunning Grenade, Improved Injector. What's this? The user gains +1 temporary wounds for combat stimulants. Sure. First use of combat stimulant per turn costs 0 AP. Charge Collector, the wearer gains +1 AP opponents per round when they fire a blast, first shot from Arc Rifle or use Magnet Rail Blast or Transonic Wave for the first time. Okay. Deadly Repeater. Sniper Rifle. Last Sniper Rifle. Good. The wearer gains +30 chance to gain 1 more attack action after a kill. Sure. Visor of Inevitability. The image for it does not match the name. Whenever the wearer inflicts a damage over time effect, they gain +1 stack of the inevitability effect. As soon as the wearer gains +10 stacks of inevitability, they deal 5 direct damage to all enemies suffering from any damage over time effects, and the stacks of inevitability are removed. I think we saw this before in the previous campaign. I think you could do that. So you can just do damage over time on like everyone, right? Interesting. Heavy shield. +1 defection, +6 parry. Force field emitter. After using a running gun, the wearer gains +15 cover efficiency, winning cover for 1 round. Heavy emergency cutter. Okay. 6 through 7, 50 armor penetration. Strike count 4. Strikes. Each attack with the saw increases the wielder's critical damage. Again, never really used cutters before. Not that I'm opposed to it. Nothing too crazy for that. Pirates, everything's so expensive with pirates. I think he hates me. I can't really buy anything. Fusion gun, two-handed lights, dark lance. Yeah, 64. He does not like me one bit. Okay, whatever. I don't. Yeah, no point in really checking it out. She really likes me. Okay, so that was the black market. This is the pirate section. Okay, so Sapphire Endless Flame, Apex Predator's Gloves. If the wearer has already gained bonus for Hunt Down the Prey, that's a bounty hunter thing. I don't really know much about that. Logis Analyzer, whenever the target dodges the user's weapon attack, the next attack against that... Whenever the target dodges the user's weapon attack, that user's next attack against that target deals +0 more base damage and cannot be dodged. Okay. Interesting. Needle pistol. Seems kind of like by the time we get this, I feel like there's just better stuff out there. But 6 toxin, poison damage, exotic weapon. Okay. Maybe. There's probably something. They're probably like you can probably get like 2 needle pistols. I don't know. I've always kind of I think later on in the game, like a lot more things are resistant to poison damage versus like bleed or fire. So I feel like toxin is not as good later in the game. But I feel like it would be kind of interesting to see if you can actually do a poison build where you're like spreading your toxic damage. You're like a you're like a Nurgle inspired like poison damage dealing stuff, because you can do there's needle pistols, but there's also Dark Eldar pistols that actually do poison damage as well. So I guess if you do biomancy, you can add poison damage. I think it's to any attack. It might just be to melee, but you can add like just tons and tons of like poison damage to your pew pistols. You can do like a Nurgle gunslinger. That would actually be a really fun like build. A Nurgle gunslinger, like dedicated to the gods of plague and disease, right? Old shield, okay. 35% chance to block. Shields to block attacks. First use of shield and tongue out. Blah blah blah. First use of a shield and attack cost 1 AP less. I feel like that would pair with that accessory we were looking at earlier. Tactical backpack. These backpack going to wear +1 rate of fire. Okay. Or strike count for any weapon capable of burst attacks. So you can get this for Irolet. That's good. Interesting. Oaken grip. I think I've heard about this. The user can equip two-handed melee weapons in this hand. Okay, we're not really doing melee, but that is interesting. The user can negative effects. The user can perform only basic attacks with two-handed weapons in his hand. Okay, so you can't do like AOE like cleaves with a two-handed weapon. That's still really good. When the user suffers a trauma, this augment does not malfunction, but the user's maximum hit chance is reduced by -5. That's fine. Foe hammer. I think foe hammer is actually it's a special weapon inside the pen and paper RPG. Foe hammer. Shotguns, shotgun pistol. Interesting. Swashbuckler's cloak. Whenever the wearer has two melee weapons equipped, they gain +10 weapon skill and +10 critical damage. Fun. Modified Spencer pistol. 8/12 poison damage. Not really that great. Like poison, it doesn't seem like that great at all. The user gains the Furious Assault ability for this bionic. Furious Assault. The user dashes through an enemy within a 4-cell radius to a cell on the enemy's opposite side and makes a melee attack. Okay. Interesting. This movement does not provoke attack of opportunity, and the attack does not count towards the attack limit per turn. Interesting. Interesting. Juice Prime Shotgun. 21/24. That's not bad. Shotgun to knock back enemies with shot at effective range. Wicked Nightmare. I feel like that's fine. There's nothing else really here. So we can do Drew scenes. We're probably going to get a lot of stuff. So reputation. So tradable. Sure. Cool. Trading. Power Claymore. Remote Revitalizer. Yes. Badge. Yes. Death Whirl Light Carpus. Yes. And beep boop boop ba boop ba boo. Okay, there's nothing else we can do? Okay. Cool. And then we do Fellowship of the Void. Reputation. Cool. And let's see, Counterspell and Mission, Vitam Doka, Imperial Navy. We haven't checked out Imperial Navy. Scrap box. We can consume this item provides 50 scrap. Yes, sure. Sure. Torpedo tubes. Torpedo tubes. If I sure doesn't say Foss pattern, Fortress pattern. 4 plasma, sharp burning plasma, that's fine. Repulsor shields, 80 points of damage. The amount is doubled against enemy kinetic attacks. Light pattern engines, 12 speed, flak animal arsenal. Allows flak shots to be fired from kinetic macro cannons. A flak shot deals 15 damage to a target in a 15 by 15 area. Yeah. Anything else? Can I get that last? Cool. Excellent. Okay, that's fine. I can't really do much. Okay, well, it's interesting to kind of like do a little bit of shopping. So we improve armor body glove. We have also newest to oldest. What do we got? We can do lights. Yeah, definitely want to give it to her. So 38% dodge against human enemies, properties. Yeah, this is good. That's fine. It doesn't really look that great on her, but how about do... what's better? That's... that's fine. Whenever it hits with melee attack, the nearest ally gains temporary wounds. Body glove, don't really need that. We can always just sell it. Cargo. Power Claymore. Cargo. That's fine. Okay, so what are we doing? Are we exploring? Are we doing... let's see what we're going to do. 2 hours 16. Oh, we're almost out of time. Let's look around a little bit, and I'll try to like talk about how to build the glorious D in Rogue Trader. Hold up 1 second. Let me see here. Let me load up some stuff really quick. Let's see, streaming. I got my PDFs for Rogue Trader that I was gonna load up really quick for you guys. So let's do into the storm. Cool. And give me 1 second. PDFs. Chronos Bestiary, Faith and Colon, Battlefleet Chronos. And one more. We'll do core rulebook. And we'll do a little bit of a quick like talk about what we're going to build. I don't want to. We will make make some progress on the Glorious D. We will. Okay, one more. But let's see if we can figure out what we're going to do inside the actual game itself. Core rules. Okay, cool. Anyways, going back to the game. Go. Okay. Okay. So what? Like I can walk in the talk. I can walk and talk at the same time. So last time we actually, like I said, we were kind of considering what kind of like hull to actually use for the Glorious D, right? Which is our Enterprise D knockoff for a Rogue Trader campaign, right? Let's see, where can we go? We can go here. Kind of want to make a shortcut. I'll have to spend a little bit more Navigator's Insight, but let's do boop and 215. Yes. 214. Yes. So, like I was saying, one of the early starting packages we actually bought was the Glorious D was actually part of a Mechanicus Explorator fleet, right? And that gives us some choices of like additional like archaeotech or certain picks where we're actually generating the ship, right? Where should I go? I kind of want to make a shortcut. Save the Eldari survivors. We can go there if we really wanted to. I think I'll just go here, and a lot of these warp routes are going to be a little bit safe, and let's make like a long way around. So let's do that. We can start the course deadly. Okay, and I'll do. Okay, so unsafe. We'll still warp travel. Save ourselves a lot of time. Lord Captain, the esteemed Magus Hanuman is requesting your attention on a private Vosk channel, establishing connection. Pascal, I'm requesting audience with the Rogue Trader. Janitor extremist 𝕿𝖆𝖊 has committed a Category 5 blasphemy by violating the precepts of the Catechism of Maintenance and Operation. The offender persists in denying his distortion of homicide design and insists on resolving the conflict with third-party mediation. Are you asking me to adjudicate your theological debate? What is the essence of this dispute? Or to both report to bridge immediately? I shall settle this. The theological discussion wait. I'll deal with you later. Two ordained servants of the homicide can resolve the issue themselves. They'll probably like kill each other. What is the essence of this dispute? The Manipulus has modified the ship's servitors in a way to deviate from the permissible standards for their construction. The arguments has been presented are heretical. The results are blasphemous, and the speech is profane. Get to the bridge immediately. I have much to do in my day, and not a lot of time to do it. Get to the bridge, now! Acknowledge, Lord Captain. Mechanicus, fight! Mechanicus, fight! Mechanicus, fight! Mechanic, fight! 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 Fight for my amusement! Fight for your curly-haired lord. When I have my comfort pies. I'll have my pie romancer bring a bunch of pies. There'll be a little tray right next to Captain Guppo's throne. He's gonna spin slowly around while eating his pie. What would he eat? I feel like savory pies are pretty good. There's the savory pies, the meat pies, right? And then for dessert we'll have dessert pies, maybe a little bit of cream and stuff, with our delicious sugary coffee beverage that we have our personal servant actually make it for us. It's pretty good. We're living the life. We're living the life, I gotta say. Okay. Do we have enough time to talk? We'll do the scene, and then we'll do a quick rundown of what we're going to expect from making the Glorious D for next campaign. Oh, so this is the first time cutscene I've seen the two of them together. Yes, yes, yes. What is it? My glorious bird Barnabas is perching on the top of my throne. The very air between the two tech priests seemed to crackle with tension. The glares of Iogan and Pascal exchanged with each other could melt steel. Pascal straightened up more than usual, as if trying to match the height of his hovering opponent. Excuse me, sorry. Lord Captain, as an ordained magos, I bear witness against the janitor extremist 𝕿𝖆𝖊. He conducts research that negatively impacts the productivity of the holy rites of the server maintenance and distorts the visions of the machine god's creations. Such blasphemy tramples the tenets of faith and may lead to critically unpredictable consequences. Iogan. Out of respect for Magos Hanuman, I will not respond to such a blatant provocation with aggression. That would be counterproductive. However, I would note that my esteemed colleague is fundamentally mistaken in his interpretation of my actions. I have followed the quest for knowledge, serving the machine god as benefits at Genitor Extremis. No blasphemy against his commandments have been committed, as Nuncius can attest. Oh, so Nuncius is going to be... I'll have Nuncius as a witness. Sure. Why not? Nuncius, having Nuncius speak first, the least biased participant. I feel like I want to do that actually. I see you've consumed with anger. I do not decide why. Play yourself, explaining petty bickering, Pascal. Yeah, no. Captain Guppo they're interrupting his dinner. Spare me your petty bickering, Pascal. What exactly has Iogan done? Genitor Extremis Ferbus was summoned to pacify a group of frenzied servitors. Okay. Given his rank and presumed breadth of knowledge, the risk of disruption to the sacred rites was deemed minimum. Okay. However, the Genitor exceeded his remit and performed rites on several servitors that did not conform to the paragram of the cult Mechanicus, replacing some of their blessed implants with organic matter. However, the Genitor performed rites on several servitors that did not conform to the paragram of the cult Mechanicus. Okay. So he replaced damaged parts with like other servo stock, which doesn't sound too bad, because I mean, I feel like that's not completely out of the ordinary. Iogan, I do not deny my actions, Rogue Trader. Indeed, I have introduced several experimental modifications to the servitor's construction. Modifications that increase the productivity and task efficiency, but it does not enhance. But does this not enhance their utility? The essence of Magos Hanuman's acquisitions elude me. So dangerous. When it comes to outside the laboratory, can't close your colleagues. Why not work together? Nuncius, what do you think? Nuncius, what do you think? Oh my lord. Pascal, what makes Yogan's experiments so dangerous? Their very nature is blasphemous through committing the heresy of invention. Genitor Ferbrus was supposed to completely eliminate the source of the malign code that infiltrated the servitor's neural implants. I kind of get what he's saying. Like, even though this whole thing might be kind of silly to someone who doesn't have a lot of experience in the universe. One, you got to think about that. You have to be a diplomat when you're dealing with stuff like that. Like, other high-ranking individuals in the ship might not outrank you, but you kind of need them in the future in order to do diplomatic missions or consult their expertise. So you don't necessarily want to just piss them off like left and right. So, and also, I think, how can I say this? The belief of the Adeptus Mechanicus is that the Omnissiah, the god of technology, has already put all technology out there. So you're only rediscovering things. You're not inventing new things. But that's kind of it's kind of like there's a little bit of a wiggle room where you can say, well, I'm not inventing something. I'm just reinventing it or rediscovering it, right? But it just comes down to all the people in 40K, all the factions, guys. I mean, so long as you have power and influence, you can get away with a lot of stuff, man. Jennifer Ferbrus was... So he... Generally, the action is to replace a malfunctioning servitor's cybernetic parts with more cybernetic parts, but Yogan replaced it with, cloned biomaterial, or because you get servostock. Servostock is a kind of a generic fusion of recycled humans and technology that you use in place of in place of what you'd use in certain computers for memory, stuff like that. Because you can't have just plain technology in a lot of these computers and a lot of these cogitators, right? Because what happened to mankind in its past with their own technological apocalypse, right? Genitor Ferbrus was supposed to completely eliminate the source of the malign code. Instead, he inflicted immortal flesh in such a way that is no longer subject to the machine gun's imperatives as transmitted by the implants. Okay, so it's just not. So he's just saying that this is not part of any known thing. It does kind of sound like innovation. The operational stability of the resulting modified servitors cannot be prognosticated. The ship's machine spirits might find themselves defenseless and fail victim to entropy, which will begin to multiply within the computational cycle. I mean, I kind of get what he's saying too. So, a lot of the machine spirits, a lot of the whenever they interface with the servitors to tell them what to do, on autopilot, if it's not the command prompts are a little bit different. It's a lot of technology is very easy to kind of get the virtual intelligence will kind of get a little bit of a goof, right? Depending if you're not careful, right? That's generally what a lot of the problems that happens with Imperial technology. Yogan raises a finger in a didactic manner. My intervention did not violate the protocols of servitorism. Their minds still follow the machine algorithms. Okay? No heresy has been committed, colleague. You are surely accustomed to relying on the cold ore lines of the Ferrous Sanctum, and you perceive organic matter as something mutable and unreliable. Yet the living cell is one of the most perfect and stable aggregates created by the Omnissiah. I'm not too familiar with, whenever they do talk about Mechanicus beliefs in the lore, I feel like they don't talk as much about, biology, aside from the machine being superior, which I get, that's the Mechanicus' thing, right? But all I know is that they're in the Imperial Creed faith and the Mechanicus faith is that mankind is kind of beautiful the way it is, and you don't deviate from it whenever possible, right? That's all I kind of know. So if he's saying the Omnissiah says a human should be a certain way, I mean, I don't really have the lore knowledge to back that up. After a brief pause, Yogan adds, addressing the servo skull, "Yes, Nuncius, bone tissue is no less vital and stable, but it'd been less convincing in this particular case." Yogan, why did you conduct this experiment outside the laboratory? A reasonable question, Rogue Trader, and I believe the answer will be prove most satisfactory. After the triosomata reconstruction, and if he's just on saying it, that's fine. I spent considerable time drawing conclusions from it. The fruit of my labors is a formula for bionic synergy that enhances the efficiency of augmentation integration with the host. Is the productive efficiency not the highest value for the servant of the Omnissiah? Servitor malfunctions will occur less frequently, shorter maintenance. Well, that's Pascal's argument, is that because it's in a conflict with other systems, it will not be efficient. But server malfunctions will occur less frequently, shorter maintenance requirements will be required, and labors of the technomats will be optimized. The utility of such a solution is indisputable, and therefore requires no preliminary investigation. Pascal, the statement is false. Efficiency is a consequence of observing proper rites, not a cause for worship. I mean, that's not untrue in this setting. It sounds kind of silly, like you have to like bless and like light some incense in order to get your computer to work. But like certain things work because they're set up that way, right? The rejection of standardized methods of service in the pursuit of increased productivity is a Category 5 blasphemy. Optimizing the labor of technomats is not the prerogative of generic extremists. Okay, so, I mean, I guess that is true, is that that's not his technological discipline, right? So he is straying from that, like his knowledge and what he was designed to do, right? Each serves according to their function. Magos Hanuman's visor flashes red for a fraction of a second. This alone is an incontrovertible fact. Interesting. If you call each other colleagues, why do you not work together for in this instance? Is that a rhetorical question? The alembic on Ego's shoulder hisses, releasing a cloud of acrid vapor. No, I see you truly wish to hear the answer. Each follows their own path to knowledge, comprehending existence through wisdom of the Omnissiah. My path and that of Magos Hanuman diverged at the very beginning. Pascal, unthinkable. Pascal's visor flashes crimson. I assess collaboration with the Genitor Febris to be counterproductive. His willingness to distort dogma in order to justify his own flaws borders on dangerously on heresy. Okay. Do I want to hear it, Nuncius? No. He's not in the mood for that. He wants to get back to his pies. Enough. I'm ready to execute this between the two of you. Both tech priests stare at you intently. I do want to kind of complete Yogan's quest line. Yogan, need interest, henceforth you shall not conduct him outside the laboratory. Okay. Pascal, do not hinder Yogan in his research. Okay. Persuasion, 94%. Pascal, you will oversee the righteousness of experiments. Together, you will stabilize and improve the servitors. Interesting. What does this do? You'll gain optimal firing solution. Okay. Void Chip Ram increases the damage dealt by macro cannons by 15% for 3 turns. That's not bad. It's not often you actually get a chance to ram things, though. Collision calculations. Void Chip Ram restores 50% shield strength on the most damaged side. That's actually really good. Persuasion. Pascal, do not hinder Yogan in his research. Several indignant bursts of binary chatter precede Pascal's response. I'll drop you out of the airlock, man. I used you last campaign. I don't need to use you this campaign. Directive acknowledged, Lord Captain. Okay, cool. So every time we hit guys with a shield, yeah, that's good. Void Chip Ram restores 15 shield strength on the most damaged side. That's pretty good. Yogan, I'm afraid you'll have to accept the status quo, esteemed colleague. Yogan makes no effort to conceal the smugness in his voice. Thank you for your agreement, Rogue Trader. I'll immediately resume my work of implementing the formula in the remaining servitors. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's save. Before we peace out, we are definitely going to do a little bit of pen and paper Warhammer 40,000 role-playing game. Sneaky Space Hobbits is. Okay. So with that said, what are we at? We are at 5 minutes over. That's fine, because I like hanging out with you guys. If you were not so smart and beautiful people, I would probably not be doing this, but I will do it because I'm with you guys. So boop. So Rogue Trader. Okay, so as a recap, like I was saying before, what we were doing before is that we were trying to make the Enterprise D from Star Trek The Next Generation in Rogue Trader. Reason being is that we're trying to give, like, the if you're a new game master for this system, and a lot of players are very intimidated by said system and the kind of divergence for typical sci-fi, you want something to kind of make them a little bit more comfortable, right? So my argument, like I was saying the last couple of weeks, is that you do not need to make a Warhammer 40,000 character in a Warhammer 40,000 pen and paper role-playing game. My argument is that since there is, especially in Rogue Trader, where there's the amount of different crew members you can pick up and have you tag along with you, is so varied. You can have someone that, like say like one of your pals is only into Dungeons and Dragons, right? And he is curious to play with you in Warhammer 40,000, a role-playing game, but it's just so much, like 30, 40 years of lore. Well, like, what is he going to do, right? So you can say, okay, so you can make a mage, a equivalent of a mage, a knight, paladin, thief, whatever you want to do. Make that, and you can just play it as if you have never heard of the Imperium of Man, even though you're a character in this setting, right? I say it's like you'd say like a rogue trader or influent person landed on your planet, explained the gist of it, and gave a lot of benefit for you to pick you up and kind of use your expertise in the greater galaxy, right? Not unheard of, I would say. At the same time, you can have like a character that is from a more mundane sci-fi setting, like Star Trek, where it's like a very positive outlook for the universe. It's not impossible. It is not impossible, right? Some, every so often, although there is, in the far-flung future, 40,000 plus, there's only war, not always, I'll say. Add me in the comments, I don't care. Add me on social media, I don't care, I will fight you. But you can play someone who is just lucky enough to have his world, or his collection of human worlds, has never encountered chaos, has never encountered like horrible genocide-causing aliens. It's possible, right? And sometimes the Imperium, I know, like a lot of lore kind of states, or they imply that their biggest priority for the Imperium, for all their far-flung worlds, is everyone has to follow the creed 100%. No. The biggest thing the Imperium cares about is taxes and the tithe. So long as you're doing bare minimum to keep your populace from like turning on the Imperium and worshiping some chaos cult, you're fine. But if you ever miss a payment on your taxes, on your planetary tithes, the Imperium will go after you. They will move heaven and earth to make sure they get what's theirs, right? So if you're like, say, like the Emperor is a big blueberry in space, you might get some factions that will try to investigate your planet for heresy. And maybe if they're just like really sure of themselves, they'll pin some like accusation on you. But it's not the greater Imperium that will do that. But if you worship the great blueberry and you're like, you know what? Of 40 million cows, I'm only going to give the Imperium 30 million. They will come for you. They will get that 10 million cows. They will give you a penalty for skipping it. Even if it's going to decimate part of your planet, they will get those cows. And if you still refuse, they will bring more resources than they have gotten from your planet to bear to kill you. They will glass your planet if necessary, if it looks like this tax avoidance is going to spread to other systems. With that said, I'm saying, long story short, you can have Star Trek themed factions inside the Imperium. Totally fine. Okay, so we made a Captain Picard character our first week, right? Which ended up being like a Seneschal diplomat, mostly focused more on like charisma and wisdom, in kind of doing things behind the scene. I was saying that if you're playing Rogue Trader, the pen and paper role playing game, you don't have to play the Rogue Trader class. I think they probably shouldn't have had a Rogue Trader class. That's just kind of throws some people the wrong way, right? But so let's actually go. We start out with a 40 profit factor in order to design our ship, right? So what I'll do, I don't have a huge amount of time to do this, but we'll look through the aspects of the ships, and we'll kind of think about what the Enterprise D would look like in Warhammer 40,000 universe. I think it was kind of like I guess you could say the Galaxy class ship was a kind of like a city ship, but it's also at its time was very capable, combat capable, right? So I would say you're probably looking at a frigate, right? Like a certain type of frigate, maybe with a little bit more ship storage space, kind of an all-arounder, something that can fight, but it can also do a lot of stuff like, have good sensors, maybe have a place where they can study alien life, maybe even like contain alien life and have a little section for diplomacy. So we'll actually look into that. But let's go to, I think, the ship area. There's the main core rulebook. If you ever have a chance to actually buy the Rogue Trader expansion books, I would recommend the Rogue Trader core rulebook and Into the Storm, right? Into the Storm does a bunch of different things, adds new classes, adds new ship components, adds new backstories, adds new gear. It's really, really worth it, right? If it's a physical copy, it's probably going to be ungodly expensive, but compared to other books, I think it is very, very worth it, right? So hulls. So we started off with bad profit factor, but like decent ship points. So when your party is designing ships for the first time in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, the pen and paper game, you get ship points. And I think we might have needed to spend some ship points earlier on, but we're just kind of doing kind of like a loose idea of, or a loose comparison to the Enterprise D from Star Trek: The Next Generation, right? So it sounds like, so transports in general, and there's a bunch of different like ship patterns, hulls that we can actually pick through on these other books, the Into the Storm and the Battlefield Kronos. Battlefield Kronos is essentially like the ship expansion book. It has like a lot of actually different options, and it actually has, I think, 2 different ship hull categories for you to kind of pick through if it ever comes down to it. So I was thinking that frigates are very standard. SP40, Space 40. I think, what was it? Ship point, space. I think 40 like cruisers, 55 cruisers. So I think we're going to do frigates. Light cruisers would be, well, let's actually go over the whole categories, right? So transports are going to be like the large, bulky freighters. Generally, you can get like a decent amount of ship points out of them, and they're not necessarily defenseless. But the biggest downside that they generally have is they're very slow, ponderous, and hard to maneuver. Whenever you're in ship combat or in certain scenarios, you can actually make skill tests to make it easier to turn the ship, since it's like the momentum, even like in ship combat, like even stopping the ship, since it's so big, like kilometers and kilometers long, with like, thousands of people living on board for like, potentially like hundreds of years. It's just like you're essentially piloting a city through space, right? So transports, that's generally what they're thing. They're generally set up for transporting cargo, but they can transport various things. They can transport weaponry, they can transport troops. Depends on like what your party wants to do, right? If we're building like an Enterprise D, we're going to be doing it mostly like exploration with a little bit of like combat. But I'm just going to going over this. Transports is probably not what we're looking for. If you're a merchant aligned, rogue trader crew, transport would actually be a cool way to go. And plus, it's not like, let's see, you have one, like 3 weapon slots, a lot of these guys. So you can get in like, let's see, hull integrity 50. Like you can get, like, transports are actually decent. The biggest thing is just like, and they can take a lot of punishment depending on which ones you buy. But it's just like the speed. And a lot of them are going to be like, the way they're set up is like you can't change certain aspects of them because they're like integrated into like the design of the hull itself. So you can't make it like, let's see, like for instance, like the cargo hull. Let's see here. Yes. So like cargo hauler, the cargo hauler trait is like you have additional storage space and you can't remove this component from your ship, even if you're planning on doing something else, right? The space actually shows like how many units of space you have, and that you can actually put down like other components like engines and power, stuff like that. I think raiders are going to be the smaller, speedier guys. So this has speed 4, speed 3, right? Just think of it in like a grid. Like speed is units of void units. They're kind of like abstract. Void units are like a section of space that could be like thousands of kilometers long, right? They're the kind of the distance that you usually do space combat in like encounters in Warhammer 40,000 pen and paper role playing game. They're not like something you can see in like visual space. It's kind of like, it's very narrative. Like when you're a game master describing that to your players, it's not like you can, typically you're not going to look out your window of your bridge and actually see certain things happening. You're usually piecing together what's happening narratively through like your sensors and like communications and like, what other crew members are actually doing, right? So raiders are kind of like the exact opposite of transports. They're very, very fast. Let's see here. So speed 10 versus 4. So each, also, I kind of briefly mentioned that, but each square void unit is like kind of like one square of movement on a grid. You can easily, depending on how you gear your ships, you can make them very, very fast in serious combat. So you can get up to like, 12 speed with a really good pilot on board. You can gear your characters to be, you can gear your own players, your party to have like one guy to be very good at like not only piloting a shuttle but piloting the city ship, right? So you can get like really you can play defensively with a raider where it's just no one's ever able to catch you. There are certain components you can actually add, and with the GM's permission, you can actually look into gearing your kit for your ship to like just be all about maneuverability and stealth, which is kind of silly to actually think about. This giant city ship can actually go into stealth, but that is a build you can actually do. You can actually make stealthy Imperial ships. Maneuverability, like a lot of these guys will have at least like plus 20. So when you're looking at like a skill checks in Rogue Trader, it's under, you have roll 2d10s, and one is like a 1 digit, one is a 10s digit. So you're rolling like under a percentage in order to get like make something happen, right? So like say if you have like a 40 skill in like piloting, you would add your maneuverability, which is plus 23, because it's very easy to kind of maneuver around. So you get like 63. So it's a 63% chance of like doing something somewhat difficult, but not quite. So if you roll under 63, you do your thing. And for every 10, depending on what version of the rules you have, every 10 can give you bonus stuff, right? So yeah, it's really easy to kind of like get kit out like a speedy little ship. I don't think this is really the Enterprise. I'm gonna go back. Frigates are probably going to be what we're gonna like settle on. But frigates are going to be like the all-rounders. They're I think they're the largest support ship whenever the Imperium fields a battle fleet or battle group of ships. Anything frigate or smaller are considered like escorts, right? They're there to support the main gun batteries or main operations. Sometimes they will be like many of them will be organized into like wings of fighters. They're geared for like certain goals. We've talked about sword class frigates, which are pretty much the most common frigate, and I think you'll probably encounter in any sort of pen and paper role playing game or cRPG, right? Usually they're classified, like sword class frigate is classified by the kind of the longer armored prow. If you can actually see this, how each Imperial ship. Actually, do I have my? Let's see here. I think I put away my. I actually had a 3D printed Imperial ship somewhere. I'll try to bring it next time. But yeah. So the armored prow, the Imperial ships, they all have armored prow for the most ship design. That's just because literally they want their ships to go forward to the enemy, not run away. So they're generally their rears are less armored than the fronts, right? And also like being able to like brute force, like ram them and like ram other ships, do a lot of like just like brute force their way through like boarding action, stuff like that. Especially if you have your complementary soldiers on your ship that can actually board other ships and like deal with stuff like that. Ramming is a must, right? So frigates, we'll come back to that. Won't read on them, but you can see that they're kind of like speed 9, speed 8s, maneuverability is like slightly less. They're pretty good. Well, actually, this is a raider, but like say speed 8, maneuverability 12, not as good as the raiders. But they do cost a little bit more ship points when you're actually making their your ship. Now you'll notice that a lot of the weapon capacity it'll show like what your weapon batteries, like what slot you can actually slot it into. Some weapons are mounted on the prow, the front of the ship. You can actually see in this picture down here where you have a prow mounted lance there under here, and that kind of determines the arc of your fighting, your firing range, right? Dorsal is alongside the spine of the ship. And then what we have, oh wait, let's see, hold up. Aft aft is left, starboard's right. I think, yes. So you can mount stuff, weapons, batteries on the left or right. So you can actually, when you're firing around, you're not necessarily it's all about like broadside combat in this setting. So mostly you're going to be firing stuff at an angle, right? Where was I going with this? And then dorsal is going to be along your spine. Keel is going to be along the belly of the ship, which I think there's not as many keel-based weaponry in this game. I think there are a couple, but generally they kind of want your ships to be to mount stuff along the prow. And even though it's a 3D space, they want like rigid formations, right? In order to stuff. So like cruisers, so we're going into like the actual like non-escort like grade stuff. They're the eyes and ears of the fleet, or scouts in the deepest void, right? So you lose a little bit of speed. You go from hull integrity, like hull integrity is essentially hit points in the setting. But you go from like 36 and you jump up to 60, right? So immediately they're going to be a lot larger, a lot more durable. The armor that reduces actually damage taken is about the same. Then cruisers are even more so, right? So you go there, cruisers are going to be the warships and the backbone of any fleet. Generally, when they're filling out a lot of like just like hard hitting, like battle group fleet firepower, they're going to be fielding the Imperium and factions of Imperium. They're going to be fielding cruisers, right? And it's back to some like cruiser, depending on what kind of squad depending on what kind of squad they want to do, what they want their battle group to do, right? Now, I don't think there's bigger ones in this setting, but if you go over to Battlefield Chronos, new ship hold, that's 20. They add more categories, which you're very unlikely to actually get when you're making a new party. But they do. So they do cruiser. Okay, so cruiser after cruiser is battle cruiser, right? We start getting into ships that have like hull integrity like 70, not a huge amount, but you start getting more like more space. You got more slots for doing more weapon batteries at once. You have additional features that are like pre-built inside the hulls. They give additional like power for additional components. They might be a little bit irritable in terms of their machine spirit. So the battle cruisers are going to be a little bit stronger than that. Then we have battle cruiser, and then we have grand cruiser, which goes up even more. right? And from this point in, it's just mostly like you're sacrificing your speed more and more to get more and more potential damage, more potential hull integrity, more potential armor, right? And then we go to Grand Cruiser. Yeah, Battle Cruiser, Grand Cruiser. Okay, so that's all it has in here. But in the 40K, the greater 40K universe, it goes after Grand Cruiser. They go Battleship, and I think some people say Super Battleship. And in my campaign, there are Super Battleships, and those are like the like you might only have like see like one or two Super Battleships in like a great area of space, right? They're very kind of rare to come across, but they can be like the kind of Death Star equivalent, like firepower, if they ever need to have it. Anyways, with that said, we will talk about what to do. We're going to be doing frigates, I think we decided, because that's going to be kind of a good all-arounder. We're going to have enough ship points in order to do so. Sword class is very common. Like I said before, it has that kind of like blade-like design on the front. Let's read out some of these other ones. So we have detection +2. Detection is probably something we want to look for. Detection you can use for determining like an atmosphere quality of a planet, or something's like being concealed in like a nebula, or like the composition of a nebula, right? So you can have like all sorts of really interesting things. I think having a high detection is going to be really good. I kind of like don't want to make a sword class frigate just because like it's sword class. The sword is good. The sword is probably one of your best, most reliable patterns you can actually get. But I feel like we run into sword class frigates like all the time, right? So I kind of want to try something else. Like cruisers. So let's go over here as well, because I know Into the Storm has some hull patterns as well. Cross careers, it's been an armory, vehicles, right in front of my face. 151. Let's go there. So 151. We'll take another break. We'll end the stream in just a bit, right? So new starship holds, transports, Clipper. I kind of want to look at that really quick. I'll do that in my own time. I'm seeing stuff and I'm like, oh, interesting. Oh, this, over that. Okay, so frigates, right? So frigates, we got firestorms. Firestorms. Let's actually look that up really quick. I want to see what it doesn't have a pattern, like a picture of it available. 40K Firestorm frigate. So Firestorm looks about like this. So it's not as like a long bladed, as much of a long bladed. Not gonna show me. Not as much of a long blade compared to the sword, but we do have spots. Kind of a standard design, not much more to say. Kind of a little bit smart, longer, like bladed keel, right? So your spine is going to be looks like it's going to be a little bit more reinforced. A lot of the operation stuff is still in a temple on the top of the ship. And not much to say, but let's go back in here. Into the Storm. The Firestorm is a relatively recent innovation in Battlefleet Obscurus. That was, I think, Galactic North, I want to say. Is an attempt to merge the maneuverability of escort ships with the ship-killing power of a lance weapon. The Firestorm is essentially a redesigned sword, which many of the weapon batteries removed to make space for a prow-mounted lance that runs most of the length of the ship. That's what we're seeing. It has a little bit of a reinforced prow that can actually hold the stronger lance that actually goes all the way through it. So interesting. Firestorms often hunt other escorts. Their lances letting them out of range and outgun most frigates and raiders. So they're kind of like little big game hunters, kind of the ship combat scene. Firestorms are not commonly used by rogue traders, as the lance take more room that could be used for cargo or supplies. True if we're making the Enterprise D. The Glorious D probably would not be geared towards specifically for firepower. However, most militant individuals have been known to utilize them, as lance armed frigates are relatively uncommon. So you can have... Does it actually say... Let's see here. Light cruisers. Okay, so 2 weapon slots. It doesn't say anything specific. Hull integrity, okay. Speed, okay. Detection, 15. So that's what we need. We want. I think one of the things we should actually look for is ship space and detection. I would say would be the primary focus for building the glorious D, right? Lathe class monitor cruiser. You notice that this is more like an Adeptus Mechanicus fleet stuff. It has kind of like a little nub on the end instead of an armored prow. So these are made by in the Lathe worlds. So the Lathe worlds are pen and paper, or the cRPG that we're playing, Road Trader, right? So it's off in the Cronus Expanse. Right next to it is the Callistics sector. It's the closest like actual bordering Imperial system or sector, right? So there's a selection of 3 worlds orbiting, or 3 forge worlds orbiting like there's a gravitic anomaly that makes them like the Lathe worlds are actually very good at like forging like unique like metals and like technology. So that's where this pattern is actually from, right? So the Adeptus Mechanicus, being an entity that exists more alongside than part of the Imperium, maintains its own armies and warships. These fight alongside the Imperial Guard and Navy in times of war, but many Magos are quick to point out they are allies, not vassals. The primary role of the Mechanicus fleets are exploration, not combat. There we go. Might be think about that. However, explorative fleets traverse the galaxy looking for lost architect and ancient relics of the dark age of technology. The Lathe class monitor cruiser is a perfect example of the ships of the explorers utilizing their fleets. Okay, designed for the Lathe class was uncovered in deep data vaults of Het in the Lathe system during the Angevin Crusade. And the century since the Crusade ended, the Lathe shipyards have diligently constructed multiple ships. The Crusade is what was used to conquer the Calix Expanse and make it into the Callistics sector. So that's hundreds of years back from where we are right now. Design differs from many other light cruisers with an emphasis on, let's see here, are we looking for... Wait, is this a light cruiser or is this a frigate? Oh, let's see here. Well, it's good to read. I think this might be a light cruiser, so I think we might not even have enough for it. Let's keep on reading, though. The design differs from many other light cruisers with an emphasis on long-range detection and endurance rather than speed and maneuverability. Outfitted correctly, a Lathe class can operate without retrofit and is resupply for decades. It's okay. I mean, this is kind of like mostly like fluff versus anything else. A little bit more armor. Yeah, it is a light cruiser. Okay, so I was misreading that. That's fine. So we're gonna stick with frigates if possible. So grain cruiser, battle cruiser. Let's see, cruiser hulls. I don't want it to be a sword class. It seems so boring. Light cruiser frigates. Falcon class. Frigate is what we're looking for. Okay, Falcon class frigate. Okay, the Falcon is considered a new class, having only been laid down in the year 261 and 41. Oh my God, baby! Given Imperial Navy's defense towards truly ancient ships in its arsenal, the class, given its mere 550 years of service, is regarded as an untried and untested pretender to the throne of more established ships like the Venerable Sword. As such, it has engendered some distinguished. Some undisguised and unfair hostility from more hidebound and traditional sectors of the Battlefleet Calixis officer class. So the Navy just kind of looks down on it. This is a pity for the Falcon, like all Voss world ships. Galactic North, I want to say. Is a thoroughly well-constructed and innovative design. It's more flexible than many frigates, having unusually the capacity to carry torpedoes. This has led to the class being used in a more aggressive capacity than perhaps suits it. More reactionary officers tending to treat it as an upgunned heavy destroyer. This ignores its abilities as an escort vessel for a larger craft, which was what it was originally designed for. Battlefleet Calixis currently has only one squadron of these ships, the 3-vessel Broadsword Squadron, patrolling a large loop around the Scintilla, Iocanthus, Spherus Secundus triangular trade routes. Okay, so they're guarding the Calixis sector right now. There is, however, talk of diverting the squadron to conduct long-range scouting patrols in the Halo Stars. Road traders, being free-thinking innovators, are less likely to adopt the Navigator's Navy's unsympathetic approach. So Falcon. The Falcon looks pretty cool, actually. It's that right here. Torpedoes, being free-thinking individuals, are less likely to adopt the Navy's unsympathetic approach to the new class, and it's not surprising that many Falcons have already been sighted within the Cronus Expanse. Okay, so it's more like firepower, like you were saying before. It's torpedo specialist. The Falcon has been designed as a torpedo gunship. The Falcon's prowl weapon slot is occupied by a Fox. I mean, this is not necessarily something we can poo-poo. I mean, it might work out. It has one less point of detection, but it gets a free torpedo tube component. You don't have to spend any of your resources on it. This component may not be removed, and it has half the usual ammunition capacity. The space required is already taken into account, but when this ship is constructed, it must provide 1 power to this component. So essentially, SP or Space 34, that's not bad, I think. Maneuverability, all the stats are pretty good, and you can use torpedo. So like if you're building the Glorious D, your Star Trek ship, I would say if you and your party are unfamiliar with like the pen and paper role-playing game, I would probably skip like worrying about torpedoes immediately, or I would say make torpedoes kind of narrative until you really get a grasp of the ship combat. Use any of these because the torpedo rules are actually found in Battlefield Kronos, right? So they're not part of the original rule set. It might be kind of like a little bit intimidating to have another rule set for torpedoes, but I don't know. Read the rules and see if it's something that you kind of like to do. If you kind of jive with them, then yeah, sure, go for it. Because you can actually, like, torpedoes are not just like necessarily for just blowing things up, but you can use them like load up like payloads and like fire it into an atmosphere. You can do like stuff. You can use it as a tool. Like if you want to do like some sort of like technobabble, I think the term is, when you're just kind of like, if we hardwire a torpedo with this chemical and arc the trajectory into the planet, it might reignite the atmosphere and prevent it from being burned off by the star's, fire, something like that, you can use like stuff like that. So maybe I would say the Falcon might be, put a little star next to that. And let's see, frigates. We're still on frigates. So we have 1, 2. So we have 2 more options to actually read through. Then we can actually design. So Claymore class corvette. Okay, interesting. I don't think I've actually read much about these guys, but interesting design. It's a little bit more squat. Interesting. So Claymore class corvette. Corvettes are specialized escort craft, usually slightly smaller and less powerful than true frigates, but slower and more heavily armored than raiders. Typically constructed rapidly in times of war, corvettes use simple components and rugged designs. Side note, if you're the Federation that you guys are building, they might be building this class of corvettes, or at least a variant of it. Because it's kind of like they don't maybe have the exact resources in order to poop out many different ships. So maybe they're only able to make this kind of thing that's like a little bit more quicker on the fly. So that might be something. The normal mission profile for a Claymore class corvette is to escort vulnerable transports, protecting them against light raiders, thus freeing more valuable true frigates to accompany battleships and cruisers. Corvettes are unpopular with the Imperial Navy officers. Most battle fleets tend to have many parochial and conservative tendencies, and receiving orders to nursemaid civilian vessels in a newly constructed and untested ship is seen as demeaning, even one as a calculated insult. That might be very interesting to think about if you're ever thinking about making specifically like an Imperial Navy campaign. Despite this, corvettes have upheld the tradition of the Navy for thousands of years, hurling themselves in the path of more powerful and dangerous vessels, their actions often saving millions of lives. The Claymore is a typical corvette, rugged and easily repaired and utilitarian. 50 or more of these stopgap vessels are constructed during the Angevin Crusade to cover losses in the sword-class frigate squadrons, turns out by Adeptus Mechanicus mobile shipyards. So they're made by mobile shipyards. Interesting. And small civilian concerns orbiting strongholds like worlds like Sinofia. That's interesting. You don't really hear a lot of stories regarding to like mobile construction sites. It's all like Forge World stuff, right? Or like space docks. But few of these ships currently serve in Battlefield Calixis. They were rewarded for their bravery by almost immediately being regulated to reserve fleets or are sold to opportunistic rogue traders. The latter appreciated them for what they are, cheap compared to most warships, and easily maintained and relatively common. So detection goes down to 12 versus 15. Armor is a little bit stronger, so 17. That's actually not, actually, well, 17, 18, it's okay. Ship points, it's cost 2 less. So it's a little bit cheaper. Hull integrity is a little bit less at all. So it seems like it just has a little bit less. The Claymore is it's a little bit cheaper, but it sacrifices a little bit in terms of like durability and like functionality. So it's interesting. So Turbulent class heavy frigate, okay, imported from Scar sector for use as a heavy naval escorts. So we had the Kronos Expanse. We have the Calixis sector, and next to that is the setting for the Dan Abnett books, the Scar sector, right? So this is where that's from. Imported from the Scar sector for use of heavy naval escorts during the early stages of the Angevin Crusade. The handful of Turbulent-class heavy frigates surviving in Calixis sector never returned, some say because they found the tumultuous Calixian region more to their tastes. Intended to drive ahead of the main fleet and engage rival scouting units when encountered. That can be kind of interesting also. Like you can see if you're building like a lore background for your party ship, that they were given over to, I mean, we're not really focusing more on like the Star Trek aspect of our conversation, but just the idea that it could have, there's some political like, weirdness going on in the background where they were given over to a different battle fleet. That sounds interesting to me. Let's see here. Intended to drive ahead of the main fleet and engage rival scouting units when encountered, the history of the Turbulent class has been characterized by aggressive and piratical actions against the Emperor's foes. That's not great. Although rare, the Turbulent has gained a reputation as lucky. Turbulents have participated in many of the most glorious naval actions of the sector, while coincidentally either surviving or not being involved in all in the most disastrous. Okay, so again, you're like, okay, is there a reason why they weren't involved? That sort of thing. They say it's lucky, but maybe there's something going on in the background. Some armchair admirals dismiss the Turbulent, citing its comparatively inefficient. Well, everyone just wants swords. It's like all the admirals and all the higher imperial, stuffy conservative admirals are just like, give me a bunch of sword squadrons. That's all I need. Citing its comparatively inefficient energy transfer citing its comparatively inefficient energy weapon transfer systems and deriding its antiquated internal communication network of brass vacuum pipes. So okay, and the electric lights. Okay, so internal communication. So you have like message delivery tubes, like pneumatic tubes, instead of like having an internal Vox system. So great. I love it so far. I like this. I might actually put a star next to it just for that alone. In its antiquated internal communication network of brass vacuum pipes and electric lights. So how do you communicate with electric lights? Interesting. That's something that sounds really fun. However, such mockery is best done behind closed doors, as several of the senior admirals in the Battlefield Calixis served upon these feisty ships at one point in their time. So we still go back to 15 detection, which is good. It has a little bit more ship points, which is bleh. Dorsal. So it has 2 interesting. So let's look at this little fatty, right? So little fatty has, the weapon slots are over its spine. So it has a good firing range. This is a very interesting ship. Fiery temperament. For some reason, I would probably ask, because like right now we have 40 ship points. In a scenario, I'd probably ask the GM if I can take 2 less profit factor, but take 2 more ship points in order to actually pick this, because I kind of like this for some reason. Fiery temperament. For some reason, the plasma drives within the Turbulent and tend to burn hotter than comparable vessels. I think this is kind of what I want to do. Though this isn't enough to compensate for the added mass, it does give more power. Any plasma drives, which are the engines going like non-warp speed, until the Turbulent has power generated by +2. well, yeah, it generates +2 power, so that's good. Antiquated communications, yes, because you have pneumatic tubes everywhere. All command tests on a turbulent suffer -5 penalty. I guess that's not really a Star Trek-y thing, but I just like the idea of it. Because you don't really see, like, we want like top of the line frigate, right? I kind of want to like pick this, but this is, I got to realize that that's not where we're not building a silly thing. But dorsal actually, that does, we could do 2 dorsal like lance batteries. So the Glorious D like fires out the lances top his bow, right? So kind of like the Enterprise does, right? But let's see here. 42 torpedo specialist. I feel like we should do Falcon. I would put a little asterisk next to that. Be very careful about if you're not comfortable without doing a torpedo specialist. If you're not comfortable about using torpedoes in your Rogue Trader games as a GM, then I would say probably Firestorm maybe. I would say maybe Firestorm. Firestorm. I'd say pick Firestorm class frigate for if you're not comfortable about using torpedoes. But otherwise, I would say so. You have two. Okay, so you have a one weapon you can mount in the prow, so you can fire forward. And you have a torpedo tubes on their dorsal, their spine, right? And then you can have and then you can have another weapon to put on your dorsal. So I would say it costs 42, so that's a little bit more ship points than we actually have. I would just ask the GM to reduce your profit factor, because you can reduce, you can gain your profit factor back through the course of the game, and a lot of like the common gear you get for like personal use, I think it is still easy to get. I think if you want to get by like just like a las gun or like a bolter or something like that, even with like low profit factor, it's still like feasible. You would be able to get it, right? And you can get a lot of like good gear for your characters during character generation anyways. I don't think that's that big a deal. I would talk about it with your GM, see what he wants to do. But I would say if you want to go Enterprise, I'd say we'll do the Firestorm class frigate. But I would say right now going forward, we're going to talk about doing the Falcon class frigate. So let's just do, is there more Falcon frigate? So see more of these guys, how they look. Falcon class. I think it's kind of like it's somewhat recognizable as a typical Imperial design. I think it's very unique too. And generally, you can have like the mast. It's kind of like prominent. It displays it fairly well. But yeah, looks pretty good. So yeah, we won't talk too much about the other shipbuilding processes, right? But I'll kind of give you a rundown of what we're going to be talking about next week. So after you do, let's do something really quick. Let's do dice roller. So once you actually make a ship, we're going to be doing the Falcon class, right? So your party rolls on rolls a d10, and you have we're deciding kind of like a machine spirit quirks for the Enterprise, right? So we'll find out like what we need to do. Let's see here. Make sure. So roll a d10, and we'll decide what kind of like. So the machine spirits, just if you're not too familiar with the setting, just think about virtual intelligence, not actual AI intelligence, but they have like certain pre-programmed algorithms that like they enable the ship to do a certain thing. But after a while, just like based on like the they have so many mines around them and going through the warp. They do develop their own kind of almost like a quasi intent and urges, and not really intellect, so to speak, but machine spirits are there. And this kind of develop, like as you're using your ship, like the ship itself becomes its own character in its own right. So let's roll a d10. So roll. So we got 3, right? So we will do 3. So martial hubris. Okay. So the ship has a glorious legacy of warfare and triumphant combats. It is always eager to fight and unwilling to back down. The ship gains +5 to ballistic skill test to fire its weapon, but suffers a -15 on a pilot spacecraft test. That's fine. We gotta be. I do want to get. We want to make an Enterprise ship, right? So that's not really something that Enterprise would do. It wouldn't go out of its way to actually fight things. It'd be kind of like a... let's roll again. I would ask the GM's permission to actually roll again, or try to see if they can actually pick one of these, I would say. But let's roll one more time. Roll. So, just clear. Clear. Okay, it was 9 last time, wasn't it? Okay, I just want to make sure. Adventurous. Yeah, there we go. This sounds a little bit better. So the Enterprise, the glorious D, the vessel is eager to seek new horizons, turn its bow from civilization, and to delve into the darkness of the unknown. That's perfect, actually. When participating in any endeavor, we talked about the Endeavor system. I'm not really a big fan of it. When participating in Endeavor, the ship gains +10 detection. This is really, really good. When not participating in Endeavor, it suffers -10 detection. So let's say if... to translate that, so I'll say it again, the Endeavor system is more like a list of objectives your party meets to accomplish like a quest and just complete it and get profit from it, right? But sometimes it's like it doesn't really make sense. Like you just equivalent a certain amount of points to achieve an endeavor and just achieve, but even if it doesn't really make any sense in kind of like a lore perspective. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but how this would generally work if you're a GM would be if the party has a certain goal. Like we're gonna find there's an anomaly that we've heard about. There is an alien race that we need to remember. This is Star Trek, right? Star Trek themed. So we're going out and we're finding a new civilization. We've a pre-warp civilization we're actually going to find. So when you're participating in that endeavor, when you go out to the planet, you'll, instead of being a 15 detection, a +15 detection, it'll be a +25 detection. So you'll be able to like find, you scan the planet, you'll be able to say, oh, there's stone huts, there's all this. It's really true. There is a settlement down there, a new civilization of humans that have not met. We have the Prime Directive, blah, 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 blah. We don't want, we just want to observe them. We'll just catalog them. We'll be very nice. We're all great here in the year of 40,000 plus. We're not going to bomb them from orbit. We're not going to do it. Okay. So also we will roll this, and if it doesn't make sense for the Glorious Enterprise, we'll keep on rolling, but we'll do, and eventually I am going to end my stream, let's see here. Hold on. Let me reset this really quick. Okay. Doop. And then roll. Okay, so we're rolling this chart. This is the past history. So most likely you're not going to get a brand new ship, right? Lore-wise, right? In this particular thing, like Captain Picard has probably like this is a ship that is a little bit more new, is probably passed through. Well, Captain Picard got this in Star Trek The Next Generation. He got the Enterprise like when it was like fresh out of dock, right? So we can kind of say that this is like one of the rare instances where this ship doesn't really have like a very long backstory. But what I rolled again? Let's see here. I rolled a 7, so that's turbulent past. Over the years, the ship has been used to perform deeds dastardly and some heroic to others. The GM selects a social group. Pirates, heretical, the Imperial Navy, the Inquisition, or inhabitants of important locale like Footfall. All ship crew suffer -20 to social tests when interacting with that group. The GM selects a secondary group, naturally opposed. I think we actually said that, like in Captain Picard's backstory where we were designing him, is that there was a bad encounter with the Imperium at large. I think we decided on something like that. So we could say that one of the groups in the Imperium, maybe like a merchant class or something like that. That's a -20 social skill test. That's actually pretty crazy. The GM then selects a secondary group naturally opposed to the first. All ship's crew gain +20 to social skills when interacting with that group. The additional problems that could arise with being hated by a particular group of people are limitless. So you could say, because remember, as a GM, you're trying to be very nice. You have the kid gloves on, right? Your players are not used to 40k. You don't want to be too difficult for them. I would say that, like, what would I impose that to? Because giving it to like a social -20 social test to like the Inquisition, that's not gonna end well, right? But you could say that maybe social testing, interacting with that group. Because my first thought for a +20 to social skill test, that would be given to like the Inquisition or the Administratum. And I would say, as the GM, I wouldn't tell my players this, but I would say that one of the reasons where the Federation has been able to stay off the books is because a power broker has taken it off the books. That's why the Imperium doesn't 100% know about it, right? So that group gets +20. So the mover and shaker, right? Like, I don't know, like, what would be a good faction to put the -20 on? I would say maybe if you're really nice, really nice, I would say maybe pirates, I would say, or a certain type of alien race. I would say an alien race would be easier because you don't want them to be, you probably don't want to give that -20 social skill test with anyone in the Imperium, because it's just going to make your players have even like a harder time trying to survive, right? So Turbulent Blast. So the ship was involved in an encounter with some sort of nefarious faction. It didn't really end well, but that kind of like pushed the Federation to kind of go out and explore its borders and kind of exist outside its comfort zone, really. So essential components, like, okay, so this is the stuff we'll just like very, very briefly go through. But like when you're designing a ship, you first want to, there's essential components. Like you can't start the campaign unless you have these things. So that's like plasma drives. It's like providing power to all your other components. Geller field is going to be the device that actually projects a bubble of reality around your ship. Generally, like 99%, well, I won't say 99% of the time. The good majority of the time, it's just for whenever you're going into the Immaterium, the warp, right? Because that prevents you from being affected by the crazy energies that are gonna like warp the very fabric of the glorious D, right? So the glorious D, but the thing is, like, I don't think it specifically has a rule for it in the Rogue Trader book. I'm pretty sure you cannot, with most Imperial ships, you can't have the shields and you can't have the Geller fields operating at the same time. You have to choose one or the other, right? There's some times when you'd always want your void shield to be active, especially if you have a lot of stellar debris, kind of like scoring up your hull and whatnot. But there'd be certain times when there'd be like, especially if you want to give your Star Trek players, like a little bit of a wiggle room, like they want to use their Geller fields to protect themselves from some sort of like grand sorceress spell or space-time effects that's actually happening to their area. You can say like, oh, you roll certain technology tests. We're going to switch over to the Geller field instead of the void shields, and you're going to make a test to actually avoid this. And then you're the only one who's not caught in the time stopping anomaly, or is not affected by the change in space-time, right? So you can do stuff like that. Void shields, like I said, they're supposed to block mostly kinetic energy, but they can block energy, stuff like that. And whatever was moving like very fast, they're like a day-to-day use. Imperial ships don't have a deflector dish like Star Trek shields do. They just have reinforced shields and they're just that tough. So certain things like stellar debris, it doesn't really sound like much. It's never really referenced a lot in like the lore, but like, you're traveling through like, you know, thousands of kilometers an hour, even if you're not going through the warp, right? And like certain things that are like space dust, stuff like that, put a hole through your head. It's going through so fast. So you have like your ship's shields always up to deflect, various debris and stuff like that. Like the day-to-day cursory, you wouldn't really come up a lot, right? But mostly it's just like deflecting kinetic impacts on the greater ship, right? There's the ship's bridge. Like I said, we're not going to go through every individual component because that would take too long and I don't have enough time. But we'll go back over it next time. And I think I kind of remember most of what we're talking about. But next week we'll go over the fine details of it. So we'll probably spend a little bit more time doing this than we did this week. But ship's bridge, it's where you are. Most of the crew is going to be operating. It depends on like what kind of game master you are. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. 1 second, guys. Door is happening. Okay, I'm back. Thank you guys for waiting. Just got a little package, that's all. So really quick. Okay, well, we'll try to power through this. So ship's bridge is generally, well, if you're a newer GM, you can say like all your players are on the ship's bridge and they kind of relay a lot of their commands to like fire guns, stuff like that, through like their intermediaries, their officers that are right below them, right? If you want to like things are uncomplicated, I like kind of the idea that your party is like split up through the entire ship, and like you have one guy that's in like one of the weapon batteries and he's like fire, stuff like that, and they like take the trams to converge on certain areas of the ship. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back again. Sorry. Real life responsibilities. Okay, gotta power through it. Okay, so anyways, I like having my party kind of, when I'm jamming, I like having a party split up throughout the ship and kind of like they're running through the city, doing certain things, putting out fires. Maybe they find like an infiltrator and they kind of like find, but you can do whatever you want to do, right? And like you can make I usually design the like lore wise, they have the ship that like design like a city, so like there's certain you can go like down to the bowels of the ship, there's like taverns and stuff and certain buildings, interesting kind of like things you would find in a typical city. Crew quarters, well, life sustainers are like oxygen scrubbers. Some are better quality than others. Some make the ship kind of like a little smelly. Some put a little bit more perfume in it. Some actually feed. There's actually there's a life sustainer, I think, that actually pumps a narcotic, or you can put a narcotic into the system. They make your crew a little bit more compliant, so like morale is going to be a little bit better, but like their skills a little bit less. Crew quarters, you can actually make your crew's quarters. Just a bunch of like hammocks, and like really crappy stuff, or you can actually give them like decent quarters, right? Auger arrays, the ship's sensors. It adds, different, like if you have certain types of augers arrays, like ship sensors, they can give you bonuses to different kind of like objectives and quests you're actually doing. Some are better for like deep detection. Some are better for like atmospheric reading. Some actually do better long distance, right? Supplemental components. There are lances and macro batteries. And if you're unfamiliar with what we're talking about before, so generally it's whenever you're fighting things in the 40k setting, or it's a broadside stuff. So they're slower. It's not like Star Trek where they're like, spinning around and doing like a little ship, they're scoring a ship with a lot of like laser hits or phaser hits. Not always. Sometimes Imperial ships do that, but mostly it's just like long, lumbering like broadsides they bring up alongside their cannons, alongside their hull, and they're like fire, boom, 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 and the broadside doing it. The macro batteries are generally not so much for doing damage, but to overloading the shields and systems of like other ships, right? So if your shields, like I said, they're absorbing kinetic energy, but a lot of times it will, once they overload too much damage, they will collapse. And a lance is kind of like the high energy weapons that can actually pierce a ship's hull. Now, in the cRPG, when you hit with lance strikes, even it always ignores armor, right? Which macro cannon shots do not. So they can get kind of weathered down by actual armor. Of especially like high armor stuff. Like if you're attacking them from an enemy ship from the front with a macro cannon, you're going to do a lot less damage, right? For instance. There's a lot of different things to talk about in terms of like weapons, lances, stuff like that. We can always talk about like next week, but augmentics and enhancements. There's a lot of like extra stuff. There's like the cargo bay, like I was telling you about before. There's retro thrusters. They actually have additional thrusters you can install on the sides to make it like easier to turn like a big old fat city ship, because you're big old fat booty. The armored prow, so you can actually enhance your armored prow so it does a little bit more damage with its prow when it's actually ramming stuff, and ramming is fun. We all like ramming. Munitorium, where you have a little bit better, and also you can kind of like role play it where any of these interesting like components you can role play it where they have additional functionality. Like if you have a laboratory that is really good with say there's a vivisectorium, I want to say, is one of the components. It allows you to carve open like Xenos and like really understand them a little bit more. But you can also make the argument that maybe like you can form like certain poisons or craft certain poisons in like a place like that, and like utilize like those components for like a other thing. And like another thing you can do as a GM is like, there's a lot of NPCs that are like, they come with these components. So like the Munitorium, although all ships have a well-armored room to store their munitions, this facility contains massive stockpiles of weapons from small arms to macro cannon warheads. So you could have like some guy who is like an old man who is in charge of like guarding all the las guns or like solid projectile stuff. Maybe he has his ears blown out. Maybe he has like because like maybe he got too close to the sound shockwave of like a macro cannon. So he's like, I've been guarding the Munitorium for 50 years. It's like, oh, great. Can we have like a las gun, please? It's like, oh, here you go. What model of a las gun would you like? I don't give a shit. Just give me a las gun. Oh, let me tell you about this model of las gun. It's like, okay. And of course, if you're like, your character is very chaotic, you just say like, have this man beaten. I just want a las gun. And he's like, yes, sir. We'll beat this old man for you. That's always fun. Right? Temple Shrine to the God Emperor. You can have like shrines. You have different. You can always role play that. So you can have a librarian vault with just a bunch of books given over. Extended supply vaults, because you can every so often you need to go back into port and reestablish all your supplies. The trophy room, so you can have like you can have like a bunch of like first place trophies to like the world's most vain rogue trader, right? So it's for mostly like role playing or for objectives, right? But you can say like maybe the rogue trader was like, he considers himself the world's greatest sprinter, the universe's greatest sprinter, right? So he has a number one, or maybe he has the greatest participation trophy that has ever been awarded. That is like, it takes like 5 people to actually lift the greatest participation trophy ever. Maybe it has a secret. The participation trophy actually has a secret. If you crack it open, it actually has a coordinates to some far off treasure. Right, so only the person who has the greatest participant and like has the greatest goodwill, but never has won in his entire life, would be actually awarded this. This is like little plot hooks you can have for your own like campaign, right? Observation Dome. There's a lot of like just the stuff you can have for murder servitors. I'll go in just a second because that's like the most common like thing that people are going to pick up. But Observation Dome, a lot of stuff just make the place look a little bit pretty, right? Murder servitors. Okay, this ship possesses a stock of ancient skull-faced killing machines, sealed in cryostasis until absolutely required. A mere dozen can be successfully sent on hit run raids to maim and kill enemy vessels. I don't think like any other novelization or 40k material actually mentions murder servitors, but this is a very RPG side of thing. So they're like super killy servitors, and it sounds like they're not just on treads. They're like things that I picture them running like really fast, right? But in shipboard actions, you can actually send them off to do like sabotage and like kill specific actions. They're really, really cool, and I don't think it actually costs a lot to install. So British servitors are really, really good. But then there's architect components. Depending on how you build your ship, you can get like very specialized versions of components that we've already talked about. You can actually get xenotech components, things that were not outside of the Imperium of Man. Now, it is heresy to install alien technology on your Imperial ship, but this would make sense for the Enterprise to actually be doing stuff like that, because they are not necessarily your typical Imperial vessel, right? But yeah, they have like you can do ghost fields instead of shields. Like you can do rune casters, you can do all sorts of like really silly stuff, and then they have NPC vessels like orc stuff. So yeah, you can do a lot of different stuff. My favorite all-time component is going to be it's an auto. It's an auto church, right? So you load the cannon into you load a church. It's folded up, right, into a cannon, right? And you fire it at a planet, and it hits. It's like a drop pod. It hits. It crushes anything underneath it, and it unfolds, and it's a church, right? And you can use that to, if you're doing missionary work and converting like heathen stuff like that. It's a great thing to do that. But I think there's a disclaimer under the entry for the item. It says, remember to take your preacher out of this component before firing at a planet, or something weird like that, right? It's like one of my favorite things, because you fire it at things, right? You can like say like, oh, like it's like the pre-warp civilization we were talking about earlier. Like you can say like, well, we want to strike the fear of God into them, whatever, so you get a really good scanning, so like the layout of the terrain, exactly when they're congregating to worship their pagan gods, and right when they're having service to worship their multi-armed heretical like god, you fire a fucking church at them and kill them all right within that area. And it's like, oh my god, the gods are punishing us for our false beliefs. And then it like opens up and you're like, oh yeah, well, this is our new temple. This is what you have to worship. It's fun. There's a lot of really fun circumstances like that in the pen and paper game. Anyways, that's it for today. I went a lot longer than I thought I was going to do, but thank you guys for hanging out with me on my stream. I do appreciate every last one of you. You guys are all beautiful people. You make me blush. You're so beautiful. We'll continue this discussion next week. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching my stream. Be sure to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch if you haven't already. It really does help me out. Like I said, current goal is the 1K over on YouTube. If you can help me out, that'd be great. You can send me a sub over there, even if you're generally like hanging out around Twitch. But I do stream on Wednesday, Thursday night, Saturday, Sunday mornings on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So pick whatever, flavor you want. But yeah, I will talk to you later. Have an amazing week, guys. I'll try to put out my schedule ASAP. And yeah, I will see you soon. So peace out, and God Emperor be with you. Bye-bye. Yes.